Looking good on the road so far this morning. I see no delays to speak of on 24, 65, or 40. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.506 Nashville's Morning News, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Hope you are doing well. And welcome on in. And glad to have you back, Joan.
Nice to be back,
It's been
Dan.
a couple of days since you've been having to wake up this early in the morning. So
No.
I'm sure you're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Or something like that.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Very good. A lot has happened, Joan, since you've been gone.
It's always busy, so that's not surprising to hear.
You left and a war broke out again. So now, of course, we'll get into all of the things going on in Iran coming up. Strait of Hormuz, Donald Trump, like a boss, saying, oh, yeah, you know what? We will protect the Strait of Hormuz for 20%. So we'll talk about that and a whole lot more here on WTN. We do have a number of interviews scheduled today. It's just the way that it worked out. Kind of funny, actually. Brent Taylor, he just got the endorsement for the 9th from Donald J. Trump. So he is supposed to join us, Brent Taylor, at 6:36. Kind of funny, though. He's been on my show like 5 times, Joan. And I got a text last night from him saying 6:36 a.m. or p.m. It's like, now listen.
Doesn't he know when your show is?
In fairness, he's out of Memphis, so he probably, but he's been on my show before. So he may or may not be on my show at 6:36. If not, we'll just continue on. There's lots to talk about. What would be funny, actually?
One of his people.
What's that?
It was probably one of his people.
I guess.
Yeah.
Be pretty funny if he calls up Murphy at like 6:35. I got an interview scheduled right now. Anyway, whatever. So I do have Todd Warner, his opponent, at 8:05. That'll be a fun conversation. So, Todd, your opponent just got the endorsement of Donald Trump. How you feeling this morning? But I'm sure that Warner, he suspected it because, let's face it, Brent Taylor, he came on, if you remember, he had the endorsements of like Marsha Blackburn and Bill Hagerty and Bill Lee and like all these different people right when he announced. And so it's not real surprising. State Senator Brent Taylor, he's been representing the Memphis area in the state Senate for quite some time. Endorsed by Donald Trump. House Speaker Mike Johnson also endorsed him yesterday. So I don't know if I can read the entire Donald Trump endorsement, but he does say, "It is my great honor to endorse highly respected State Senator Brent Taylor, who is running to represent the incredible people of Tennessee's 9th Congressional District." He says Brent is strongly supported by the most highly respected MAGA warriors in Tennessee, including both of your tremendous U.S. senators, my friends Marsha Blackburn and Bill Hagerty. He goes on to say he's a successful businessman, so on and so forth. Bottom line is now that State Senator Brent Taylor, running for Congress in the 9th, does have the endorsement of Donald Trump. That is huge. And I don't know, Joan, do you think that with that endorsement, knowing that district the way that we do, is it now just pretty much a fait accompli that he's going to be the
I think so.
the Republican nominee?
Yeah, I think so.
That's been pretty much it for all of the people that Donald Trump endorses. He has been on a roll with the endorsements. Jim Jordan, by the way, another one, is who he was endorsed by. So one of the things that I thought was interesting about Brent Taylor is on day one, he had, the endorsements of all of the people that I just mentioned, plus Senate Majority Leader Jack Johnson, Congressman Tim Burchett, Congressman Chuck Fleischmann. A lot of people actually took exception to that. I don't know if we talked about this on the air. I think I did, where it was almost like, okay, dude, so you literally just announced that you're running and you've got all of these endorsements. Now, I thought it was great. I mean, I thought it showed a lot of gravitas. I thought that it showed that he had his stuff together. I don't think that he was anointed like some people are trying to say. I think that he came out and his stuff was together. And he is, as far as I can tell, very popular in the state legislature, Brent Taylor. So hopefully he'll join us at 6:36. Right about the time that he announced, I've got some audio here. Right about the time that Brent Taylor announced, with all of these endorsements, people in Memphis, of course, y'all remember this, they were really angry at the redistricting. They were angry with his involvement and support of the federal and state law enforcement going into Memphis, among other things. And he said, listen, this is all just part of the job of trying to make Memphis great.
There are a lot of people that are angry. Matter of fact, I have worked hard to make Memphis matter.
Yep.
And to listen to the folks back in Memphis after everything I've done, and now that we have done the redistricting, they will tell you that I have made Memphis matter, M-A-D-D-E-R, instead of M-A-T-T-E-R.
So we'll see how he feels this morning after getting that endorsement from Donald Trump. I don't think there was ever any question that Trump would be endorsing Brent Taylor because of all of the people that they sort of have in common. You know what I mean? When you've got the endorsement of both the senators, of the governor, and so forth, I think that it was only a matter of time before President Trump came out and endorsed Brent Taylor. There were some Republicans, again, that were put off by the whole thing. To be honest, I talked about that a minute ago. I did hear from folks who didn't appreciate that he came out on day one with all of the, I'm air quoting this, the establishment support. But, to me, come out strong or go home. He also, during that interview with me, he defended their redistricting, of course.
But look, this was the right thing to do, and this will give us one more Republican in Congress that will be able to fight an impeachment of President Trump and to really be able to press forward with those conservative ideals that we all want, and this gives us another voice in Washington. So this is a good thing, despite the fact that the Democrats are opposed to it.
Yeah, Brent has been involved in the Memphis area politics for years. He represented East Memphis and Germantown and Eads in Shelby County since 2022. He was on the Shelby County Election Commission, the Shelby County Commission, and the Memphis City Council before that. So it's not like he's a carpetbagger or new to the city of Memphis or Shelby County. He is, again, supposed to join us at 6:35 this morning. We'll see if he shows up. By the way, again, State Representative Todd Warner also running for the 9th. He is supposed to be joining me at 8:05, and we'll see how he feels this morning. Also on DebateGate. So now Channel 5. Can you explain this to me, Joan or Sam? So Channel 5 has now decided to cancel the debate that they had scheduled after John Rose dropped out. Now, this is the same John Rose that has been complaining that Senator Marsha Blackburn refused to debate. So now he is refusing to debate because it was only going to be he and Monty Fritz. So isn't John Rose essentially doing the same thing that Marsha Blackburn is? So now, to me, it looks like Monty Fritz is the only guy that's willing to, go in there and debate. Now, to me, I think this is an absolute strategic error by John Rose. So first, Senator Blackburn declined the invite. We all knew that was going to happen. Blackburn campaign manager Abigail Sigler telling Channel 5 that Senator Blackburn has votes scheduled in the Senate that evening, which is true. Now John Rose has said that he will not debate either. Rose campaign manager Chris Devaney releasing a statement saying, quote, Tennessee deserves to hear from all three candidates. Senator Blackburn's refusal is not a surprise as she continues her campaign of running away from voters. He says, we are hopeful she will agree to an alternative date, but we are not holding our breath. And so Monty Fritz has now decided to come out with his own statement. We'll talk about that straight ahead.
Don't you think that Monty Fritz is owed the opportunity to go? I mean, it should be a town hall at this point with Monty Fritz only.
Yeah.
Like, he's the only guy in. I think Channel 5 owes him that ability to have that, some media exposure because they offered it to him. And now they're going to yank it because everybody else is gone? That's not fair.
Oh, and to put the onus on it being, because Marsha's not going to be there in debate, the Rose campaign's not going to be there. You know how disrespectful that is to the man that did agree to be there?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No, I agree. I think this is a strategic error by the Rose campaign because now they've lost all credibility to say, well, Marsha won't debate because he won't debate either. And this was a prime example, and I'll get into the numbers. Well, let me do traffic real quick. 5:15, time to check the roads on WTN.
Nothing happening on the roads. Things look great on 24, 65, and on 40. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, Joan, cloudy, showers and thunderstorms today, and a high of about 89.
That's it.
Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News. So I'm thinking that John Rose should have debated Monty Fritz, even without Blackburn, because, somebody could have watched that debate, right? By John Rose's, because remember, you were gone, Joan, but John Rose comes out in the last couple of days with his own polling. We talked about this yesterday. Rose comes out with his own polling, and if I remember right, he had 15% undecided. So if that's the case, and according to his own polling, he is 15 points behind Blackburn, why would you not debate? Because that 15% is up for grabs. And I can almost guarantee you that 15% would have been watching this debate. This was an opportunity for John Rose to say, she won't show up, but you 15% who were undecided, I did show up. And so vote for me. And Monty, of course, could say the same thing. But for Rose to drop out, I think it's a missed opportunity. I think that he could have convinced some of those 15%ers to vote for him. And he's, again, not to belabor the point, 15 percentage points behind Marsha Blackburn if you believe his polling. So I think it's a mistake for John Rose not to do this. I think that he is going to lose credibility for the for the opportunity, the ability to say, well, Marsha Blackburn won't debate. The other thing is that at one point he said I think it was on Twitter last night, where he said that he was prepared to debate anyone, anytime, anywhere, any day. And I would respond to that by saying, well, apparently, except for July 20th in Lebanon against Monty Fritz. So Monty Fritz, this is a video and audio, Sam. This is Monty Fritz, and this is what he had to say about all of this.
Hey, friends, it's Monty Fritz for governor. Lots of the people supporting Team Liberty are asking about the July 20th debate that Channel 5 is planning to do at Cumberland University. Of course, we agreed to that right off the bat. I just got word from the Channel 5 folks that are trying to pull this together that Senator Blackburn is not going to attend. That's too bad. And I think what I read in the message was that Congressman Rose hadn't really given an answer since Senator Blackburn's not going to be there. Maybe he had enough up in Knoxville the other night. Don't know, but I think the people of Tennessee deserve this, a statewide televised debate. Shame on those folks that won't show up and talk about what they believe and just give candid answers to Tennesseans about things that are important to Tennesseans. So I'm hoping that both the candidates will change their mind, but we will see.
So there you go, Monty Fritz.
And it's just him posting a video, right? His team doesn't have to come make a statement or anything. He's really separating himself when it comes to the common man talk.
Yeah, he posted it himself, as far as I can tell. And Monty Fritz is very unscripted. Joan, you were telling me something as you traveled across the highways and byways of Tennessee, and that was that you noticed a lot of Monty Fritz signs out across the state.
A lot of Monty Fritz signs, some John Rose, but I can't tell you when I've seen a Marsha Blackburn sign. I mean, honestly, and I'm talking yard signs. So this is anecdotal evidence. It's not anything more than that. But I have to say, first of all, where I live in Coffee County, Monty Fritz is like wicked popular, crazy popular. And I do see some John Rose signs, but I could tell you that because in our travels, we went to Florida on an RV trip over the weekend. And so, I'm in the passenger seat. I do a lot of looking out. I took notice, and I did not notice Marsha signs at all.
So I have no idea whose polling is right, if it's
Yeah.
Blackburn's polling, if it's Monty Fritz's polling, if it's John Rose's polling.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I talked about this yesterday. There's all kinds of polling out there from places and organizations that support each and every candidate. So I don't know whose polling is right. I don't know whose is wrong. I don't know whose polling is biased. Whatever. What I can tell you is that I've been covering politics for a long time. And I can tell you that the people that are pro Monty Fritz are really passionate. Like, I have not seen this kind of passion
Right.
behind a candidate in a long time. I don't know how many there are. I don't know how many there are, but I can tell you that the ones that are supporting Monty Fritz that I have heard from, that I have met, that I have conversed with on social media, they are all about Monty Fritz. So, again,
it's the authenticity, and I think what the Rose and Blackburn campaigns, I'm saying this as respectful as possible, are failing at is they're acting like they're running a congressional or a Senate campaign. This is a governor's race. This is completely different. Your messaging needs to be a lot more direct and a lot more concentrated to different parts of the state. You're not trying to message en masse to people like you would if you're representing, a district. And they are failing not just poorly, I would say miserably, based on the online. Like you said, the polling can't be trusted. So I'm looking at Facebook, I'm looking at X, I'm looking at Instagram, and Monty Fritz is just blowing it up on there.
Yeah.
And if we're getting more authentic feedback and reactions from people there, that's where I'm going to put my money.
okay, now I want to do a Daily Dan poll. Should John Rose debate Monty Fritz?
So far, 100% say yes.
Oh, yeah.
There's a shocker.
Well, and it's
Well, it's an obvious yes. It is an obvious, isn't it? An obvious yes?
it's an obvious yes, and you didn't even go there. I'm willing to go there. It gives shades that you're scared and that you don't have a buffer in Marsha Blackburn on stage to go, well, her answer wasn't any better or something like that. We've listened to the both of them talk. I think it would be a rather fortuitous lead for Monty Fritz in a debate.
And I understand why, and I've said this 1,000 times, I don't agree with it, but I know why Marsha Blackburn is not debating. It's because, according to her polling and a lot of the polling out there, she is so far ahead, believe it or not, whatever. And Politics 101 will tell you that you don't debate when you're that far ahead. Donald Trump in 2024 Republican primary did the same thing. John Rose does not have that excuse.
But are we sure she didn't read it on a fortune cookie?
Is it ironic, Joan, that there's a fortune cookie in the newsroom? Did you see me playing with said fortune cookie? I don't know where that fortune cookie came from.
So there was a whole box of fortune cookies that arrived.
There was.
Yeah.
Okay, so somebody is doing something silly with fortune cookies.
Yes.
And they sent us a bunch of fortune cookies, apparently.
Yeah.
Little known fact about me, not only do I like candy corn, I also love fortune cookies.
I'm always disappointed by the message. Aren't you? I mean, it's supposed to be like a Confucius say kind of thing. And
All right, you know what? Hey, Joan, did you see where I left that fortune cookie?
no.
Okay, here's what I want you to do.
Okay.
I want you to get up from your seat, go to your left, out the newsroom door, and it's on that really messy table right by the wall.
I
But
see it.
instead of opening
sees it.
gently,
Should I?
smash it.
No, because you know what? We got a mouse problem in this building.
Yeah.
So she'll have to clean the whole darn thing up. So go grab it. I want to know what the message is inside. It'd be really funny if it said like John Rose should debate Monty Fritz. Like, wouldn't that be funny? And there goes Joan. She's gonna. Do you think Joan likes when I send her out on errands in the middle of her broadcast?
Possibly.
Hey, Joan, after this, can you go make me a cup of coffee? Joan's like, all right. So let's see what the fortune cookie says.
All right, I got it.
All right, what does it say?
Says.
Confucius says.
Of course, it broke.
You know, Joan, we're supposed
should not
to
be this difficult.
talk during this.
Yes. I'm so sorry.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to open it. Okay, here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
Everything will now come your way.
Do you know what I think, Sam? Do you know what I think needs to come Joan's way? Clearly, a pair of scissors,
Well-
so that the next time a fortune cookie comes her way, she can open it quicker.
So
and
here's
easier.
the thing: when when I was trying to open it, it wouldn't open with my hands. And normally I would put something in my mouth and just tear it open. But I don't know where this fortune cookie wrapper has been.
Well, it's been in my hands, so that should tell you all that you need to know.
Clearly, that was a good choice.
You know what? If Senator Blackburn, doesn't win, she can always start a fortune cookie company.
Yeah, she could. Yeah.
You could have What? I'm being nice. I don't have a dog in this fight or race or dog
I
in this
mean,
race,
she's
whatever.
getting eviscerated for it, rightfully so.
Yeah.
You and I talked about this off air. I told you this was a bad commercial. It is, and it's getting the deserved backlash over it. And it's not a bad commercial in a good way that's generating interest. It's a bad commercial that's leading to relentless bashing.
Do you know what, though? Every election cycle, there are bad commercials. Have you noticed this? There's bad commercials. There's bad jingles. There's just bad. And
I thought Spencer Pratt having Karen Bass be the Joker or what, I thought that was cringy bad, but it was bad in a good way.
That was good. Yeah. Well, no, I don't think that was bad in a good way. That
man
was good.
Casting a fellow candidate as an animated supervillain, yes, that is. It would be under the bad category of.
Well, that was when he was talking about how L.A. was run it was like Gotham.
Well, yeah,
remember that? I mean, that was so brilliant.
It works with him. It works with how he presented himself.
I thought he raised the bar on how to do political commercials
on the social media end.
What Marsha Blackburn did, steps back 7.
Well, but here's the thing, though. And we can scream they cheated all you want in L.A., but nobody has brought any proof. I want to point out to everyone, including the Monty Fritz supporters, that Spencer Pratt had huge online support and buzz. And look what happened to him.
Yes.
So I'm just saying.
We had that clip on the show yesterday of the Maine woman whose mother's still on the voter rolls 4 years after her death. And that's in Maine. So there's got to be something fishy happening in LA.
I get it. And I understand it. And I agree he lost. And so I'm just trying to tell you that as much as I like Monty Fritz, as much as I like John Rose, as much as I like Marsha Blackburn, just realize that there's a lot of people saying, oh, Fritz has... Somebody said to me yesterday, I kid you not, Fritz has it in the bag. Are you flipping kidding me?
Nah.
Come on, man. I get the guy has a lot of buzz and you're excited, but I mean... It ain't over yet. And
I love this. Somebody texted in 4899, said that what Marsha needs to do is have a commercial where she's cutting up green cards. Then that would be effective.
That would be effective.
Yeah. I'm all for that.
All right, we got to go. 5:27. Joan's got the news at 5:30. Joan.
Yeah, coming up here at 5:30, protesters turn out for yet another ICE shooting, this time in Maine. That's coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning. It is 5:32. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. We've got a mostly cloudy day ahead. More chances of showers and thunderstorms for you today. Our high going to 89 degrees. For the second time in a week, a person has been shot dead by ICE agents. And we're now hearing from witnesses to the shooting in Maine involving a driver, ABC's Pierre Thomas.
ICE has put out a statement late on Monday evening in which they're describing an incident where they were looking for a undocumented or person that they were trying to deport who was at a specific address. They had information and that a person left that address that ended up somehow interacting with them in a way that they felt was aggressive and that shots were fired.
ICE spokespersons telling NBC News, quote, an illegal alien departed the residence in a vehicle. ICE law enforcement attempted to conduct a vehicle stop, that vehicle attempting to flee the scene, and fearing for public safety, an officer discharged his weapon. Those officers, however, were not wearing body-worn cameras. A 2-month-long drug trafficking investigation has just wrapped up in Murray County. The sheriff's office there saying search warrants executed over the weekend turned up more than 1,500 fentanyl pills, cocaine, and other illegal narcotics, and nearly $58,000 in cash. The TBI isn't saying if there were any arrests made in that case. And a New Jersey man says United Airlines flight crew forced him to change his T-shirt before boarding a flight from Atlanta to Newark Liberty. Sam Sadah's shirt read, "Bombing kids is not self-defense." Now, Sadah said he changed the shirt because he wanted to get home, but described the interaction with the flight attendant as humiliating. United's contract of carriage states that the airline may refuse transportation to passengers who are, quote, not properly clothed or whose clothing is lewd, obscene, or offensive. That is the latest news. Traffic is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. right, so we have a crash out at the airport at the moment. It's on Donaldson Pike at the I-40 crossover. Careful in that spot. Otherwise, the major roadways look good. Traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
5:38. Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you, friends. Hope you are doing well, and welcome on in. It is a Tuesday, July 14th, and it's time for Joan's World. As Joan is back, and Joan, this is basically, I have not heard or read any of these stories. I don't know if Sam has. So go ahead, take it away, and we'll just wing it.
I thought this first story is just incredible. There's a guy, and this may be not news to other people, but I think for a lot of people, this is news. A guy just bought a new F-150 truck from Ford. Now, this particular truck, in my humble opinion, in this video, looks like an electric truck. It doesn't look like your typical truck. He said he found a hidden GPS tracker on this new car. Now, this is something, it's a new program called Car RX, and they add it to new services. It's like an add-on service that you may end up paying for in the paperwork. So like read for it when you buy a new car. And what happens is that this Car RX actually makes a deal with the car company, with the dealership, not with you. You're going to pay for it though, but they make this deal with the dealership, and whether or not it actually unfolds depends on state laws. But this guy realized that there was something up and went looking for a GPS tracker. Listen to this.
So I started thinking, how do they know all that information about my car if they don't have some sort of GPS tracker on it? And that's when I realized that they probably already did. And sure enough, a Google search confirmed it. There is probably a tracker on that car right now, and we're gonna go look for it. According to the internet, these trackers are usually around the OBD port. So let's take a look. Well, there's nothing plugged in. I don't think so. So
This like if you're sitting in the driver's seat to your left, down in the...
Like underneath the dashboard.
Underneath the dashboard.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on. So this looks like some sort of Y cable. Where does this go? So this is clearly the pass-through wires for the OBD, and then the Y cable comes off. Mm-hmm. Just pull on this and see what I can find.
And there it is. There it is. He found the tracker down underneath the dash to the left.
Oh my God. And that confirms it. It's got a...
Yeah.
So, I mean, keep on, if you would, keep on playing, because what he found is how, like everything that they can track about this.
All right, here we go.
And that confirms it. It's got an IMEI, and so that means it has a SIM card in it. It can track you anywhere. The craziest part is that this was not sitting out for me to see, saying, hey, that's your Car RX module. It was tucked away and hidden. They didn't want me to find this.
The device that he found is called Car RX by Elo GPS. Apparently this device is put into a lot of vehicles at a lot of different dealerships, including Toyota. So what this is, it's an add-on service, but it's sometimes bundled into your purchase. So they can say it's like a perk, or they can charge you up to $1,000.
So I don't know how long it's going to take for it to get to the point.
Though.
Yeah,
that is diabolical.
So they can track your location for one thing. Mm-hmm. They track things like when you brake, where you turn. Like if you take a fast turn, it can tell that. It can also do things like track where your eyes, there's another device that it's hooked up with, and it can track where your eyes are looking at any given time. So it can tell if you look at your phone or if you're looking at the road. I mean, this is insidious.
And, they sell this information. That's what they do.
Absolutely.
They sell it. So,
and that's where the dealership comes in. So like you pay for it, and the dealership gets paid by this Car RX company to sell your information.
Now, here's my question. If you ask the dealership, is there a tracker on this phone, on this car through Car RX? Are they required to tell you the truth?
That's a good question. And if you tell them you don't want it, and you want that GPS tracker out of your car, are they required to remove it?
Do you know what I wonder? How did he know that there was a tracker on his car? Like, how do you know that there's a tracker on your car?
He said he could tell because there was something that was blinking, and it was up by the overhead
Mirror?
What's that?
The overhead mirror thing?
Yeah, by that. And there's like something in the center console, and there was something blinking, and he realized that's kind of weird. So he went on Google and looked up what that may be, and that's what got him on to the thread of figuring out where it is that this tracker is.
9194, I work at a dealership. They have been doing this for years. So I'm sitting here thinking where I go and would anybody ever care? I'm like, work, maybe Starbucks, maybe then, home, whatever it is. But I mean, I don't like this at all.
Right. And so can that be used if the government or if a police agency wants to track your whereabouts because of something that has happened in the neighborhood, a killing, if they want to track your location because you were one of the J6ers, can they do that?
9069 has a great point, which is the phones in your hand have been tracked for years.
That's
now, the difference though, is that we know that we're being tracked by our phones.
Yeah.
You buy a vehicle and they're not upfront and honest about that being tracked, and you're paying for it, and they don't give you the option to opt out when you purchase the vehicle. There is a difference there.
Well, and with that, when it comes to your phone, there's the conscious choice, but there's also you can turn it off. In a lot of instances, when you do, it's suspicious to the police, if you're trying to evade or create some fake alibi on something. But there is no uniform federal requirement for dealerships to disclose a car RX or similar on every vehicle for sale. Huh. Disclosure is often required or strongly recommended under state laws and consumer protection rules.
1936 says they sell that info to insurance companies. Mm-hmm. So if my eyes are darting...
that would require a camera.
Well, Joan just said they can, or somebody said, either Joan or the video said they can track your eyes at some point.
If you have a camera facing you as not a lot of vehicles are going to have that feature in there.
Yeah.
Like, a Waymo would be one thing. There was one that busted kids for drinking and shooting BB guns or something inside of it. But it tracks your location.
Yeah.
Geofencing and theft recovery alerts, which was they try to sell you on, we could track it down if it's stolen. But vehicle health monitoring, diagnostics, mileage, braking, and data sharing with dealerships for marketing and service reminders. I mean, I miss the days where you could go buy a pickup truck and they would sell you a Winchester 4040 with it or something. Or a shotgun came with it. And then they told you how to take care of it.
Right. I don't remember those days when you would buy a truck and you get a shotgun. I don't remember those days, but I'll take your word for it. So, yeah, and people are saying it is good and bad. I mean, it's bad because you are going to be tracked. It's good because if you do get carjacked, or if you're walking around a mall and you can't remember where the heck you parked, then maybe they can help you with that as well. But does the good outweigh the bad?
Well, you can get aftermarket stuff for that. You can get an Apple AirTag or some other kind of Bluetooth or Wi-Fi based tracker if that's going to be I would not personally trust a company with access to that information, because all it takes is the right hacker to be able to kill switch your vehicle with it.
By the way, if you have a phone, they can figure out exactly where you are at all times through the pinging of the different cell towers and all that. So,
they can do that with the Wi-Fi signals in this building.
Yeah, so there's no, I mean, I've said this 1,000 times, I don't like it, but there's no real expectation of privacy. That being said, this is wrong because they're not being upfront that your vehicle is being tracked.
The fact that there's a SIM card in it is absolutely wild.
Yes, that's big. That's big.
All right, Joan, what's next?
All right, so let's go to some heartwarming stories, a couple of them about teenagers. Now, this will help you to feel better about the future of our country, I think, because it certainly did that to me. This first one is about two boys who had their friends. They live in the same neighborhood. It's Saturday. One of them calls up the other and says, hey, let's go for a bike ride. So the two of them jump on their bikes. And while they're out for a bike ride, they spotted something weird. Go ahead, Started.
Started out as a normal summer bike ride for Gunnar Skidmore and Cohen Chick, quickly changed into potentially life-saving action, helping an elderly woman who fell in her yard. Skidmore says he got up like he does every morning, eating a Pop-Tart while scrolling through TikTok. He says he got a FaceTime from his best friend Cohen to go for a bike ride. The two got on their bikes and headed for Muscatine on 57th Street South. This is when they say something looked off.
I went to the trail, and then he's like, "You see that lady back there?" I was like, "No," and I went back and looked, and it took me a while to find her, and I found her, and then I was like, "Hey ma'am, are you okay?" She was like, "Yeah, I need help, call 911."
At first, the boys said they weren't sure if they should approach the woman, but a call to mom cleared things up quickly.
She showed up pretty fast, and then my mom called 911, and she didn't have her phone or the water or anything. She was there for 16 plus hours.
Yeah, of course, mom got involved and advised the boy. So this woman had fallen down the steps in her backyard 16 hours before, and she had been laying there. Later on in this video, the one boy says that he knew she was there for a long time because she had bugs all over her face.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and she couldn't get up. And so they called police, and police came and rescued this woman. These boys didn't have to stop. They didn't have to help this woman, but they were good kids. And they realized that they needed to jump into action.
What's really interesting, Joan, is that they weren't sure if they should approach her because they've been taught don't talk to strangers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, which is kind of funny when you think about it these days, because honestly, for a lot of kids, that's all they do online because they're playing games with complete strangers.
Right. So I thought it was funny that he starts his day with a Pop-Tart and TikTok,
Yeah.
But he's still a good enough kid that he goes ahead and helps it.
Well, listen, if I could start my day with a Pop-Tart and TikTok, I'd be just fine.
Life would be terrific, wouldn't it?
It would. What would it be like to be 12 again? Anyway,
I know.
All right,
yeah. So that's the first story. And then there's another one. This one's out of Alabama. A 17-year-old kid also helped to save an elderly woman. She was suffering from a brain bleed. She didn't know it. She didn't understand. And the scene, I'll set it up for you. She started off to work. She drove to work and pulled over in a parking lot. And when she got out of her car, she was stumbling all over the place and really not sure where she is. Now, this kid could have looked at her. He was 17. And if he was a cynical 17-year-old, he would say, there's that lady. She's drunk again.
Right.
But instead, he knew something was wrong, and he went to help her. Go ahead.
Earlier, he was working when he saw a car slowly pull over across the street just before 5 a.m.
She parked across the street in a parking lot, and she got out of her car, and she was stumbling around. So I went out the end of our parking lot to check on her and see if she was okay. And that's when she explained to me that she had a terrible headache and was wanting to know where the nearest emergency room was.
Garner drove from Cherokee to Tuscumbia, around 20 miles, though she doesn't remember much. Johnson got her a chair and called 911, waiting with her until an ambulance came. She learned at the hospital she had a brain bleed.
Angel. Hero.
It's amazing, Joan. This 17-year-old, he looks 25.
He does look 25, doesn't he?
And he's got a deeper voice than mine, so I hate him.
And he's quite handsome. Quite handsome 17-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Garner's family tracked Thompson down to thank him the following day.
I just felt relieved and that so thankful for humanity that someone would, pay attention.
And Tuesday, Thompson and Garner were reunited.
Thank you so much. And we have a little love offering.
I love that the family came out and said, "Hey, thanks, buddy, for doing what you did." That they were grateful. And just in case you're not watching on YouTube, if you're just listening to the story, you should understand that the kid is a 17-year-old white kid, and the lady was an elderly black woman, and he didn't see race lines, which I think many of us don't see the race lines, even though the media will tell you that we do.
Where was that? Where was that at?
In Alabama.
Of course. See, that makes sense.
Yes, right? So it was, I thought, just another, two really good stories about young men who are doing the right thing. And like it should be, the media paid attention, and I like that they paid attention to something good.
You want to talk about the gay cruise?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so I'm just kind of looking ahead. So apparently, Virgin Voyages booked a gay cruise, but they didn't really think much about the port that they would be going into. And I guess they've had to now reroute because Turkey and Egypt have denied the ship from entering their countries due to their moral standards. This is part of the story.
For the second time this week, a gay cruise in the Mediterranean was denied entry. The Turkish government banned travelers from docking because of, quote, moral standards. At least 1,000 Americans are on board, including passengers from South Florida.
Thomas Barker is from Miami. The 10-day trip was a gift to him from his husband.
And so there are thousands of men who come to the ship to celebrate and to feel free to be who we are without any fear of homophobia or to be able to be ourselves in a public space.
But that freedom of expression was challenged when the ship tried docking in Turkey. The government unexpectedly denied the ship entry because of what they call moral standards.
Why would they say unexpectedly, Joan? Like,
Right,
we know.
They had to line the ship up. You know, they don't set off on a cruise without knowing exactly where they're going to go and what time they'll be there. The harbor master has to know when the ships are coming in.
Right.
Yeah.
So why would this be a surprise? And I don't know anything about gay cruises, but I mean, have they tried to dock in these cities before, in these countries before, and they were allowed, or like, is this suddenly something new?
I found this story to be so incredibly distasteful because of all those things. I mean, they had to know where they were going to go before that ship even set out from the United States.
Right.
And they also probably have had these cruises before, and they would have to know the local laws in order for them to go and go to these places.
You know, it's so funny though, not to make this political, but that's what I do. So there's a lot of these people who will scream. We actually played some great audio yesterday of a woman who was gay, black, and female, and so she was like the trifecta of the Victim Olympics.
Yeah.
So, but then the people pointed out to this woman yesterday, okay, so what are you not allowed to do in America that, you know, straight people are allowed to do?
Yes.
And she realized that she was being a big old buffoon. So in this case, I wonder how many of these people on this ship who are extremely leftist, hate America, hate everything about America, and then they go to a place where there really is discrimination.
Yes. So the funny thing is, one of the guys that was interviewed for this said, and I quote, "We thought that it would be a great opportunity for those people in those countries to also experience what it's like outside of the rest of the world, where people can be free and be celebrated for who they are."
Apparently not quite.
Somebody else from the ship posted, he was recording on his deck or whatever, and he was talking about how this is Trump's fault. That Turkey and Egypt won't let us in. People feel emboldened to act this way because of Donald Trump. So it's his fault. It's all his fault. And it's like, dude, do you have any idea what they do to people like you in those countries?
You know what? Maybe it's better that they didn't dock.
Yeah. Oh, I think so. Also, he was saying that this guy that was being interviewed said something to the effect of, you know, we spend so much of our time trying to find safe spaces where we're not going to be, you know, brutalized by the public.
Where are they getting brutalized in America?
Right.
Like,
right. He spends so much time doing that.
I mean, you've got entire districts in most cities where they're like the gay district, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean,
they just made
especially in
open air
Miami.
sex markets legal in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Open air sex markets?
Yeah.
What does that exactly mean? Like, I'm genuinely asking a question. Like, and we've got like 3 minutes to like drill this down. What can you do? Because I can't talk about that after 6. What can you do in an open air sex market in Los Angeles? Like, what does that mean exactly?
I mean, I would paraphrase it to mean that. Oh gosh.
I don't think it means that you can like pull everything down and just start going at it in the middle of the street.
So AI says Los Angeles is home to several well-known street-level sex markets. The most infamous, highly publicized open-air zone is the Figueroa corridor in South LA, particularly a 3 to 4 mile stretch along that street. Another active street-level law enforcement advocates classify this as a severe human trafficking and exploitation crisis rather than a consensual market. What? How can this happen in the United States?
Because it's Los Angeles, which is really, I don't consider LA, parts of LA, part of America any longer. All right, we got to go. 5:58, and Joan has the news coming up at 6. Joan.
Yeah, the governor of South Carolina appoints someone to take Lindsey Graham's place. Some details on that coming up here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning at 6:01. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. The governor of South Carolina appointing Lindsey Graham's sister to take his U.S. Senate seat for the remainder of his term.
Lindsey has always been there for me, and now I will be there for him. Now to Lindsey, I miss you more than I can even put into words, but I'm going to do this. I got it.
President Trump had announced earlier in the day that he would like to see Darlene Graham Nordone finish out the term. A special primary will be held sometime next month, and then his replacement will be chosen during the November election. A grandfather recovering now after a bison at Yellowstone National Park charged and threw him into the air over the weekend. That man is now recovering from surgeries. He's suffered several broken bones, ABC's Trevor Ault reports.
It happened Friday in the height of the summer tourism season. That bison inside a picnic area of the park.
Look out, bison!
And as it stops to rest, that grandfather and his grandson taking photos. That's when the buffalo stirs and charges. The grandfather, unable to escape, flipped 8 feet into the air. That grandfather suffered multiple broken bones. He's recovering after surgery. His grandson was not hurt.
Yeah, park officials are saying that bison can weigh up to 2,000 pounds. You saw that thing. He's huge. And run 35 miles. They urge keeping 25 yards of distance because animals can be unpredictable. Market Numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
Stocks lost ground to start the week after President Trump threatened a new U.S. blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. The Dow fell 138 points to land at 52,499. The S&P gave up 0.8%. The Nasdaq surrendered 1.5%. The tension in the Middle East is again pushing up crude prices, and gasoline is right behind. GasBuddy puts the current national average at $3.83 a gallon and warns that it could be back at $4 by the end of next week. Thanks for the memory. Research suggests the rising cost of components and memory may be slowing down smartphone sales. Shipments from China fell last quarter more than 4% over a year ago. Android has already boosted its smartphone prices. Will Mexicans eat Mexican food from the United States? Chipotle is about to find out. The doors swing open Thursday on a Chipotle location in the northeast city of Monterrey. Next year, says CEO Scott Boatwright, it's Mexico City. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
And stock futures this morning are pointing in a couple of different directions. Dow futures minus 164, NASDAQ futures plus 128. The S&P futures are down just a bit this morning, just over 5 points. Brent crude oil trading at $87.32 a barrel. That is the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Pick a Jones 604. If you're thinking of replacing your AC, check out your windows first. Drafty windows force your AC to work overtime. New windows from Window Nation can help keep your home comfortable and reduces the strain on your HVAC. And right now, they've got a great deal going on. The pros at Window Nation, this is my window company. They can help you get new energy-efficient windows at a great price. You could get 50% off all window styles and 0 down payment and no payments or interest for 2 years. Window Nation, they're always trying to save you money. And don't forget that deal. Right now, I just told you about it. 50% off all window styles and 0 down payment and no payments or interest for 2 years. This is why they've got an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau and a 96% customer satisfaction rating and over 45,000 five-star reviews. Tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out. Check out all the styles, windownation.com. Window Nation is a proud partner of the Wounded Warrior Project, windownation.com.
They're still working that crash scene out at the airport on Donaldson Pike at the I-40 crossover. And there's one more reported now. It's in Gordonsville on I-40 westbound past Alexandria exit 254. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
608 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Coming up at 6:35, Brent Taylor, State Senator Brent Taylor, is going to be joining us. He just got the Trump endorsement for the 9th, and so he'll be joining us. He's going to talk about that all-important endorsement and a whole lot more straight ahead. 6:35 on Super Talk 99.7. Just a quick update on Iran. I know, we're all sick of this, but it looks like we bombed the crap out of Iran again last night. Now, remember, this comes after the Iranians violated that memorandum of understanding by bombing 3 ships in the Strait of Hormuz. Donald Trump pretty much said, yeah, we're done, and the bombing began. He was asked yesterday how long he thought the bombing might go. This is what the president said.
Well, I think it's going very fast. We've demolished their military. We're hitting them very hard. We had a deal yesterday or the day before yesterday. It was all done. And then they broke up that deal immediately because they found out there was something in the deal they didn't like. And they're wired differently, and we're not going to put up with it. We are just going forward. We're attacking them tonight. We're taking out all of their capability for anything having to do with the Strait, with the Hormuz Strait. And I think in the end, we will end up just controlling the whole thing. And what they're doing is being very foolish, very stupid.
That is President Trump, and he is right, obviously. I believe they're being very stupid. Donald Trump does as well. Majority of the world believes that Iran is being stupid, but this is what they do. And you know how this goes, right? I mean, we've been dealing with this for 4 months now. They bomb, we bomb. They say that we violated the agreements. We'll say that they violated the agreements. Clearly, they violated the agreement, the memorandum of understanding. But the whole thing just goes on and on. Donald Trump is saying that, listen, what we need to do is take out all of their capabilities to interfere with the Strait of Hormuz. Now, the president's saying we've knocked out more missile sites. That's what I've been saying all along, which is, you know what? Let's just deal with the Strait of Hormuz right now to ensure that it stays open. Here's more from Donald Trump.
We're hitting them very heavy tonight, as you know. We have tremendous amounts of ammunition. We have numbers that we haven't had in years. And we're hitting them very hard, and it'll continue, and we'll see what happens. But we're knocking out all of their offensive capability, and we're controlling the straits. We're putting the blockade back. And it's a blockade not for anybody but Iran. In other words, anybody doing business with Iran can't go through. Everyone else will be able to go through. So it's a blockade. It's a very strong blockade. The blockade was probably more effective even than hitting them, but I think the combination is the thing that really does it.
But you think a deal is still possible? You think they'll return to that?
Yeah, I think a deal is possible. Sure, I do.
So the president says, you know what, we're bombing the crap out of them, but a deal could still be possible. You did hear that, by the way. We're only interfering with Iran. I don't know if I agree with Donald Trump on this. I don't know if a deal is possible, at least a deal that we can trust in dealing with Iran, because we all know that they lie and they obfuscate and they do a lot of things that are really sketch. And this is what they do. This is why nobody trusts the Iranians. And I'm not talking about, me or you. I'm talking about world leaders. So that's part of the situation. But we are only interfering with Iran. We're hitting their economy. That is smart. So Iran has been squawking hard on all of this, complaining that we broke the deal. No, we didn't. Actually, they did time and time again.
It was a done deal. And then they broke it. They always break it. We've had 10 deals with these people. And so we're just going to hit them very hard. And we're gonna keep the Strait, and we'll probably run it. We'll become the guardian of the Strait. Maybe we'll call it the guardian angel of the Strait. And we should be reimbursed for that. When we do that, we're going to be reimbursed because the other nations are very wealthy. They're on our side. And we can't be expected to do that for nothing, unlike we had for many years. We guarded the Strait for 50 years more, and we never got paid for it. They made all the money, and the United States was just, not. They wouldn't. It's amazing. It's we guarded it for nothing, and now we're going to guard it. We're going to get paid for guarding it. A lot of money.
Yeah. So as you can imagine, people are freaking out about this. I like this. The president announcing we will be getting 20% from the Strait of Hormuz. So Iran is not going to charge money to allow ships to go through, but effectively we're going to do it. Donald Trump haters are howling at this, as you can imagine. But I get where Donald Trump is going with all of this. Iran has been holding the world hostage for decades with these kinds of threats against the Strait of Hormuz. So we're just going to say, okay, you know what, Iran? No more. You're not going to be able to make these threats. We will take over the Strait of Hormuz. However, you're darn right well we're going to get paid for it. But nobody else is going to take care of the Strait of Hormuz. Literally, we are the only nation in the world that will do it. By the way, you know how much money we're talking about here? At least $114 billion a year. At least. It could go all the way up to $150 billion a year for revenue for America. But it's not really revenue. It's essentially us getting paid for guarding the Strait of Hormuz and keeping it open. And I do like that. We're getting reimbursed for keeping Iran at bay. Now, I know that some people are going to say this. Wait a minute. Why should other countries have to pay America to keep the Strait of Hormuz open when it was free before the war? Trump would say, well, we're also keeping Iran nuclear free. You're welcome. And I get it. I don't have any problem at all with us getting, and I don't know, maybe that makes me a hypocrite, whatever. But listen, if Iran was going to do it and we're able to not allow them to do it, and then we're spending our resources in making sure that Iran not only is nuclear free, but also doesn't have access to the Strait of Hormuz, can't continue to threaten or can't continue to keep the Strait of Hormuz closed, then I'm all for it. Now, the bombing for the last 3 days that has been all about the military infrastructure near the Strait of Hormuz, which is, again, what I've been saying all along. Why do we not? This whole thing seems to center around the Strait of Hormuz. That's what everybody keeps talking about, most certainly when it comes to our gas prices. So why don't we take out their military structure around the Strait of Hormuz? That is exactly now what we are doing. By the way, the countries that will pay, because everybody uses the Strait, right? It's going to be Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, China, India, South Korea, some European nations and companies as well. The bigger question of all of this is, will the United States be able to stop Iran from interfering with the Strait of Hormuz? It's the drones. It's the missiles. We keep dropping bombs on them, and they still figure out ways to launch them. You know, the deal with drones, right? We've been talking about this. Relatively inexpensive. You can store them at multiple locations with mobile launchers. And so unfortunately, this is going to be very expensive to keep the Strait open. This is what the president wants to do. He is demanding that we get paid back. That makes all the sense in the world. It is 6:15. Time to check the roads on WTN. .616, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. As far as your weather for today, cloudy, showers, thunderstorm possible, high around 89 to 90. Appreciate you listening to Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan?
Yeah.
Can you name this movie?
The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club. Second rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club.
It's Fight Club.
That's from Fight Club?
I think it's from Fight Club.
Did you hear what happened in Hermitage?
After a year of neighborhood complaints, a Hermitage Fight Club? No more.
Did you know that we had fight clubs in Tennessee?
No.
Apparently, in Hermitage, and I don't live that far from Hermitage, they actually had a fight club going on. It was happening about once a month.
Phrases like, fight him, kill him, and it's terrible.
According to Councilman Jordan Huffman, for close to a year, his constituents in this Hermitage neighborhood have been complaining about unsanctioned fights.
Numerous issues in the neighborhood, cars on the streets, loud noises, but most importantly, it's an unsanctioned fight where we've been hearing reports of people being charged at the door, prize money being on the line. There's been accounts of individuals getting hurt, some underage. Definitely a lot of concerns for me with that.
So a couple of things just right off the bat. why did it take a year to break up this fight club that was going on? That's number one. Number two, I mean, they probably didn't know when they were going to spring up, but you call the cops and you deal with it. But I have no idea what kind of fight club this was in Hermitage, but apparently they have fight clubs for all kinds of combat. Because I thought it was just a movie. I had no idea that fight clubs actually happen all across the country. They do bare knuckles. They do jujitsu. They do karate. They do boxing as well. I did some reading up on fight clubs this morning, and apparently this is popular among young college-age males. Sam?
I mean, we didn't call it Fight Club.
What did you call it?
I won't be disrespected, so I will kick your ass. I don't know.
No, this isn't, but this isn't like I'm going to meet you behind the gym like we did in high school. This is a bunch of strangers getting together and just fighting like in the movie.
Well, I've seen some videos. It's basically like backyard MMA. I mean, this stuff is dangerous. It's honestly, I'm not going to lie, it's kind of entertaining, you know, but I understand the legality and the health issues of it, of course. By the way, also underground street racing, that's also a thing. It's not just a movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So the movie, I don't know if you've ever seen Fight Club, Joan or Sam, but the movie, from what I understand, I've never seen it. A part of it is all about this anti-consumerism theme. I don't know. It's rebelling against society. It's a fascination with things that you can buy. Again, I haven't seen the movie, but in reading about these modern day fight clubs, because the movie was back in, I think, 1999. Is that what it was? So I think fight clubs like the one that was just broken up in Hermitage, it's basically, you know, as you said, Sam, it's about the thrill and the adrenaline. I guess the money and the competition. Sam, I know you've been asking for a raise. Can't do it. Why don't you go try to Fight Club and see how much money you can get doing like the bare knuckles thing?
I don't know if they'll have someone in my weight class.
So as far as this fight club in Hermitage goes, one thing I'm really curious about, again, is why did it take a year to break this whole thing up?
Got a quiet neighborhood here in Hermitage that once a month historically has become the site of a literal fight club, things that you hear about on TV and movies, and this is not the place for that.
I think Hermitage is nice. Like, I mean, I live in Mount Juliet, which is right next to Hermitage. Hermitage is, big, so maybe there's other sketch areas, but the areas that I've seen, it's nice. Again, at least what I've seen of it, but they had massive parking issues. By the way, they were in a cage. That's the other thing. So this fight was like literally in a cage. So they had massive parking issues, fights, loud cheering and such. And so I don't know why it would take a year, but they finally did. And by the way, the house ended up selling, which is why they ended up stopping the fight club, apparently.
News 2 goes to the house for some answers. We find a man who says he's the new owner.
Yeah. Understand there's been like a fight club back there. We want to get, I don't know if you own the place or live here or if you heard the allegation.
I just bought the place like 2 weeks ago.
And then you walked into this.
Yeah. There'll be no fight clubs here.
No more fight clubs.
That's right.
I appreciate your time.
You know, you could tell, Joan and Sam, this guy clearly, he didn't want to talk about the Fight Club.
You do not talk about Fight Club.
I guess that's why he didn't want to talk about it.
No.
You know what happened to me once? When I lived in California, Winnetka, California is where I owned a home. You know why we moved?
Why?
Cockfights.
Nuh-uh.
Chickens. So we had other cultures moving into the neighborhood. It's popular in Mexican culture.
It's not chickens, it's roosters, right? Because they're mean.
Is it? Yeah, roosters or chickens? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know what they are. They're loud birds with beaks. Yeah. And is that chickens or is it roosters? Cockfighting? Is that roosters? Whatever. Anyway, it was loud, and you could always count on like a late Friday or Saturday night. You could always count on a lot of cars, mariachi music, and a bunch of beer-swilling guys cheering on their favorite rooster. And it was like, okay, we're done. and we
That's awful.
ended up. Well, crime was going up in the neighborhood as well, but it was like when that really started, and it was going on like once or twice a week. It was like, okay, we're done. And we were done. It is 6:23 on Super Talk 99.7, and Joan's got the news coming up at 6:30. Joan.
Yeah, a country star goes on a Christian nationalist rant. Tell you about that coming up at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Think of Joan. Dan Mandis here for my friends at DT McCall's. They've been helping out Tennesseans for over 100 years with fair prices and outstanding customer service. Now, right now, they've got great deals on all things electronics, appliances, furniture, lawn and garden, and a whole lot more. Now, you know that DT McCall's, they've been saving Middle Tennesseans money for over 100 years. 4 generations of treating people right with a focus on savings and customer service. Now, the first thing I do when I realize that I need something in my house is I go to dtmccalls.com. I check out the latest specials, and they've always got specials going on. And typically, I'll order right from the website. But if I have to go see it, if I got to go to the brick and mortar store, then they always help me out with great customer service, and they answer any questions that I might have. So if you need anything for your home, garage, or backyard, you only need to go to one place. That's my place, DT McCall's. You got 5 locations across Middle Tennessee: Carthage, Cookeville, Lebanon, Lafayette, and Franklin. Always online, dtmccalls.com. Tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out. Dan Mandis here, and one of your biggest priorities in life is to protect your family. And if the power goes out in your neighborhood, you need to get it back on quickly. That is where my friends at the Generator Supercenter come in. Now, you've seen the horror stories of power being out for days or weeks on end. The Generator Supercenter provides backup home standby generators at a terrific price and outstanding customer service. In other words, if the power goes out in your home, your backup home standby generator is going to turn your power right back on. As a matter of fact, go to their website right now and find out how you can save $500. Tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out. When you go to Generator Supercenter of Nashville.com, see how you can get started. Generator Supercenter of Nashville.com. Now, they do feature turnkey installation, certified plumbers and electricians, and service after the install, and a whole lot more. So at the Generator Supercenter, they also have their generators made right here in America. So check them out online or call them 615-879-1952, 615-879-1952, Generator Supercenter of Nashville.com. And don't forget to check out that website and see how you can save $500.
Good morning. It is 6:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. President Trump vowing to have control of the Strait of Hormuz very quickly, saying the naval blockade is back on, and he's even considering charging a fee to get through the strait to help pay for security there.
Right now, it looks like each side believes that they have more leverage over the other to control the straits, to charge fees, regardless of where the body of law sits when it comes to international law. So I think this is where the showdown is heading on who is going to control the strait, how is that going to happen, and who, if anyone, will be able to charge tolls for ships coming in and out of the Gulf.
That's ABC's Javed Ali reporting. The Muslim illegal immigrant who is charged with murdering an American mother who had moved to Ireland has finally been located. That man was arrested in his native Jordan. The man's accused of strangling Jamie Carney and killing her 13-year-old daughter, too. He's thought to have been her boyfriend. And country star Kacey Musgraves had some concert dates scheduled for Texas later this year, but she has a lot to say about Texas in some recent Instagram posts, saying that the state is some sort of Christian nationalist state and claiming that officials there are forcing the Bible on kids and indoctrinating them. Her rant is all about the state passing new education rules to include the Bible in school lessons. She says it's not okay. Musgraves apparently doesn't know that the Bible lessons are not mandatory and the Bible is not being forced on anybody. Each district decides what kids are taught. That is the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I do know that the struggle is real. The struggle to look great in your bathing suit or even wearing anything. Well, my friends at Contours, they can help you with their FDA-cleared red light technology. Now, folks across Middle Tennessee have been discovering Contours. Their state-of-the-art facility can help you lose those unwanted inches across the belly in no time. Contours has been here for 5 years. They are the original red light technology provider in Middle Tennessee. Hearing the success stories, it is amazing. I've done it. Matt's done it. You lose at least 2 inches across the belly, or that first visit is absolutely free. Check them out today at ContoursLLC.com. They've got a special going on right now. The first 10 callers, you get that Belly Buster special for just $99. That's right, $99 special price right now for the first 10 callers. That phone number, 615-236-9960, 615-236-9960. First 10 callers right now, it gets that first Belly Buster special for just $99. Now, don't forget that open house. It is coming up this Saturday. Both Matt and I will be at Contours location in Cold Springs to walk you through the facility, introduce you to the staff, and talk about how they can help you. This coming Saturday, 11 to 1, Matt and I look forward to seeing you there. Details and RSVP, ContoursLLC.com, 615-236-9960. Hey, if you're ready to save some money, my friend. Hey, if you're ready to save some money, my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling are buzzing with some of the sweetest deals of the season. Hey, it's Dan Mandis for Busy Bee. You buy a select high-efficiency HVAC unit, you're going to get a free air duct fogging and a UV light home treatment to help keep your home's air cleaner and fresher. How about some plumbing deals? You can save $800 on whole home water and drain line replacements, or take $500 off a Halo 5 descaler and a whole home water filtration system. They're always looking to save you money at Busy Bee. One more really cool thing that they're doing right now for the month of July, you join the Beehive Club and you'll get a free yearly Beehive membership to give to someone in your neighborhood. By the way, if you need some financing, they can help you with 0% 0% financing for 18 months and no interest if paid in full within that time. Great savings as usual from Busy Bee HVAC. Call them. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. Online anytime. BusyBeeHVAC.com. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling offers valid with approved credit where applicable. Restrictions apply. See website for complete details and disclaimers.
Still working a crash scene on I-40 westbound past Alexandria in the Gordonsville area. That crash reported earlier this morning. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.636 Nashville's Morning News. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Want to welcome on into the program State Senator Brent Taylor joining us, of course, running for the newly redrawn 9th Congressional District in Memphis, Shelby County, among other places. Brent, how are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself, Dan?
I'm good. Okay, so number one, congratulations on the highly coveted Donald Trump endorsement. Politics fascinates me. How does that all come about?
Well, it's interesting. I yesterday, about a little after lunch, I get a phone call from the White House, and they said that the president would be meeting to discuss my race with his political operation in the White House. And the meeting would be from 2 to 4 Central Time. And although there were no guarantees what would come out of the meeting, they did say if you could not be on the phone and if a 202 area code phone call comes through, be sure to answer it because it will be the president. And as it turns out, about 2 o'clock came, 3 o'clock came, 4 o'clock came, and then about 4:15, I told my wife, I said, well, I guess they are not going to make the endorsement today. Maybe it'll be another time. And sure enough, for about 15 minutes, the phone rang, and it's just like you see on the movies. You pick up the phone and say, will you please hold for the president? And the next voice you hear is President Trump.
Okay, that's got to be crazy. Was that the first time you had spoken with him, or have you interacted with him in the past?
No, that's the first time I've ever spoken with him. And it was an interesting conversation. We had about a 5 or 10 minute conversation. It was a wide-ranging conversation. He had indicated he had followed my race and was interested in helping and wanted to endorse. And we discussed my efforts to make Memphis matter and how what I did ultimately led to him bringing the Memphis Safe Task Force to Memphis. He talked about. It was interesting. He knew in granular detail about my legislative record. He knew that I had fought violent crime in Shelby County and wanted me to help him do that with other cities like Nashville, for example, whose crime problem is just about as bad as Memphis's was. He knew of my record when it came to fighting illegal immigration and a lot of the legislation I had carried, and he knew of my work on fighting China, protecting our farmland and mineral rights, and pushing back to ensure that China can't get our proprietary information through the funding of lawsuits. So I was very impressed that he knew in granular detail about not only the 9th Congressional District and what it means to keeping the majority in the House, but also he knew of my legislative record.
One of the things, and we don't know who's going to control the House coming up after the midterm elections, but one of the things that I know that you've said is that you're concerned about if the Democrats get hold of the majority in the House of Representatives, they're going to start, in my opinion, not only impeachment hearings, but they'll try all that nonsense. But I see them trying to start all kinds of investigations as well. Are you ready for that kind of a fight in the House of Representatives if you ultimately end up there?
I am, and matter of fact, we discussed the fact that if we hold on to the majority, it'll be a slim majority, and if we hold on to the majority, it will be because of flipping seats like this one from Democrat to Republican. And we actually discussed the fact that that my race and perhaps some of the others that flip will be that impeachment insurance to ensure that he's not impeached and that he can continue the next 2 years implementing his America First agenda. And so that was part of the discussion yesterday. But yes, I'm up for that fight. I have fought our only Soros-funded DA to ensure that we have prosecutors are actually doing their jobs. I have fought to ensure that we don't give illegal aliens the opportunity to stay in this country after they've been arrested. And I have fought China and look forward to taking that same type of fight to Washington. And, I talk about the fact that David Crockett used to represent District 9 in Congress. And, he, on his last reelection, he and Andrew Jackson hated one another, but on his last reelection, he stood on the courthouse steps after he had just lost the election and told the crowd assembled there, I'm going to Texas and all you folks can go to hell. And I think I have that same Tennessee grit that David Crockett has. And I would say it a little bit differently, and that is I'm going to Congress and I'm going to give the Democrats hell. And I believe that my Democrat opponent will be Justin Pearson, and I will do everything I can to ensure that the only time he ever sees the inside of the United States Capitol will be through the Visitor Center on a guided tour and not through the members-only door. We need more David Crockett's in Congress and less Jasmine Crockett's.
Hey, Joan, there's your soundbite for the newscast right there.
I got it.
You got that?
Marked and tagged, ready to go.
And I intentionally didn't say anything like right after so that you had a clean place to pull it out of the comment there.
Well done.
So let me ask you this. Brent Taylor, by the way, joining us, a state senator, just got the president's endorsement for the 9th Congressional District, newly redrawn. So you've been making the rounds in the newly redrawn district. I don't think it was the last time you were on, but I played some audio from an earlier interview that you and I had done, sir. And you talked about trying to connect with the people of Memphis who are very angry that, their district has been redrawn and so forth. So how has that been going? Have you been able to connect with those people? Are people starting to come around?
They are, and we have been spending a lot of time in Middle Tennessee, a lot of time in Williamson County, Bedford County, Giles County, and the message of fighting crime and the experience that I have in fighting crime in Memphis resonates because they know that Nashville has a crime problem, and they don't want that crime to creep out of Nashville into these suburban communities like Williamson County or Murray County or Bedford County. They want that crime dealt with in Nashville, and I'm the only candidate that has the experience of working with the Trump administration. And I raised the awareness about Memphis's crime to the point that the president sent the Memphis Safe Task Force, where they literally cut crime in half. And I want to take that experience to Washington to help fight crime in Nashville. So that message is resonating. Also, the message of fighting illegal immigration, because I carried a lot of the legislation, and I talk about this on the campaign trail, to ensure that when our sheriff's department have illegal aliens in custody, that they notify ICE. And once they notify them, that they actually hold them until ICE can come and pick them up to start deportation proceedings. So that message is resonating, and people really don't care where you live. They just want to make sure that you're doing the work necessary to protect their community, and I have a track record of doing that.
All right, State Senator Brent Taylor is joining us here on Super Talk 99.7, just getting President Trump's endorsement for the 9th Congressional District. Coming up, we're going to talk about there's still a primary election to be had, but you talked about how Justin Pearson is going to, you assume, is going to be your opponent if you ultimately end up winning. one of the things in politics is you have to define your opponent. You know this. So I'm going to kind of ask you, okay, so let's define your opponent. Let's talk a little bit about Justin Pearson. We'll do that coming up next. It is 6:45. Time to check the roads on WTN. Cloudy showers and thunderstorms and a high of 89. Appreciate you listening to Super Talk 99.7. All right, so let me ask you, Brent Taylor, how would you define, out on the campaign trail, how would you define Justin Pearson?
Well, I would say that I am the candidate of law and order, that our law enforcement is doing the work to reduce crime, and he is the candidate of communism, socialism, and chaos. And you look no further than the example of him getting up off the House floor during the special session, and he goes up into the gallery and stands nose to nose with the state trooper, and literally, Dan, calls him an MF boy multiple times, trying to goad that officer into doing something, and that officer exercised tremendous restraint. And that is the reason I will take the fight to him in November. And he has AOC and the Jasmine Crockett's of Congress that are coming to campaign with him here in the 9th District. And I think it will create an interesting juxtaposition to have the squad down here campaigning for Justin Pearson, who has nothing but contempt for law enforcement. And you juxtapose that against me and my campaign and the Trump endorsement of law and order and protecting average Tennesseans, and that would be the difference between Justin Pearson and myself.
Do you think you're out there talking to folks in Memphis? Are you? It frustrates me because there has been a lot of success in Memphis. Are you still seeing people pushing back on the additional law enforcement, since clearly these neighborhoods are doing better now, that the crime is down, lives are literally being saved? Are there still people that are giving a big time pushback on the additional law enforcement?
They are. Unfortunately, there have been 4 police shootings where the defendant has been killed by law enforcement in Memphis and Shelby County with the Memphis Safe Task Force. And in each instance, the defendant allegedly pulled a gun on law enforcement, which forced law enforcement to kill them. And 4 instances of that in the 10 months that the Memphis Safe Task Force has been in Memphis. But crime has been reduced by 50%. So, unfortunately, it's always bad when there's a loss of life, whether it's someone that's engaged with law enforcement or not. But think of the lives of innocent people who have been saved as a result of the Memphis Safe Task Force. The Democrats have pulled back. They appear to be pro-criminal. They're coddling the criminals, and they're pushing back against the Memphis Safe Task Force. They also, Dan, pushed back against the school intervention bill that I was able to get through the state Senate along with Mark White, and that will absolutely transform our education system in Shelby County. It's the worst school system in the state. The graduating classes, 75% of which can't even read when they graduate. And we finally got intervention bill passed that will improve the educational outcomes for our kids, and they're pushing back against that as well. And the 2 things that have historically held Memphis back have been a poor education system and crime. And we're about changing both of those things. And I believe that's why people all throughout the 9th Congressional District see me. They know that that's Memphis's fight, but they also know that the fight in me is what they want in District 9, because I will fight for Middle and West Tennessee to ensure that we push back and keep violent crime from creeping into our rural communities. I will push back and fight and won't back down on illegal immigration, and I will fight and not back down when it comes to protecting our businesses and our farmland from China.
You had mentioned Steve Mulroy earlier, the DA for your area, for the Memphis area. I love that the state legislature and you have been trying to hold him accountable for his soft on crime policies. So we still have a primary election to go, but let's just say that you ultimately end up in the representing the 9th in the House of Representatives. Are you still going to be able to hold him accountable, or can we just be guaranteed that he's going to be held accountable one way or another from the other lawmakers within the 9th Congressional District in Memphis?
No, I believe I will be able to hold him accountable at the federal level. However, there are conversations now with people who are interested in running in the special election in the event I am successful in my congressional campaign of running in the special election to replace me in the state Senate. Those are parts of the conversation that I am having with potential candidates to replace me in the Senate. But I believe I can hold them accountable in other ways at the federal level, and I will concentrate in ensuring that there is an investigation into his office regarding grant funding that his office is awarded. I believe, it is my opinion, that he is commingling those funds because he is trying to cash flow that office and to make sure that he does everything except prosecute criminals. And those grant funds are provided for specific purposes, and I believe he is not using those grant funds properly. And I will do what I can at the federal level, just like I have at the state level, to hold him accountable in his office if he's taking federal grant funds, to make sure that those funds are being used properly and that they're being used for the benefit of reducing crime and helping crime victims.
All right, so last question, and it's going to be a dumb one. But you said the White House called you, right? So when the White House calls your cell phone, does it say the White House? Or like what is the caller identifier?
It just says area code 202 and another string, the rest of the numbers.
Got it.
And it's just like you see on the movies. The lady on the other end, when I said, this is Brent, she said, please hold for the president. And the next voice you hear is President Trump.
All right. Well, congratulations on the endorsement, and still an election to happen. And again, wish you good luck, and let's check in soon again.
I appreciate you, Dan. Thank you so much.
All right. See you. Bye-bye. All right. Brent Taylor. 6:52. Did you get all those sound bites, Joan?
Got them all.
I hope you're going to flip that for the 7 o'clock newscast. You know how that works.
Yeah. Well, good luck with that.
6:52, and Joan has the news coming up at 7. Joan.
Yeah, I do. And there are some others, stories this morning, including the death of a 17-year-old after a swimming mishap. We'll tell you why it's being called a trespassing incident as well. It's coming up at 7 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. And of course, all the rain that we've had, we could end up with more rain today. It seems like every day it's been more and more rain. You could end up with water in your crawl space or a basement. That moisture could be an indication that you have waterproofing issues. And it also means you need to call my friends at USS United Structural Systems. This is the company in Middle Tennessee for all things, not only waterproofing, but also foundation repair and concrete leveling. Now, look, if something does go wrong, it needs to get fixed and fixed right away. So if you need financing help, United Structural Systems, they are here with 3 different options for you. You can either get a 10% discount if you pay in full, or fix it now, pay it later. With 18 months, no payment or interest, or third option, choose 36 months, no interest with low payment options for qualified homeowners. So they do have options for you if you need them. 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855. The website, USSTN.com. As always, tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out. We guarantee our best. Call USS, 615-488-7855, USSTN.com. .653 on Super Talk 99.7. Dan Mandis here. I need to make a formal apology to my listeners. I need to apologize for not getting my vision corrected sooner and for not encouraging you earlier to call my buddy, Dr. Jeff Horn at Vision for Life. Now, in all seriousness, I had lens replacement surgery just over a year ago, and I could tell you firsthand it has been life-changing and epic. You don't realize how much you're missing when you're living with blurry or cloudy vision, driving, reading, even just seeing people clearly across the room. Everything these days is sharper, brighter, and easier. So whether you're dealing with cataracts, age-related vision loss, maybe you're just tired of glasses and contacts, Dr. Horn has a solution tailored to your eyes and your lifestyle. Now, the procedure, it is quick, it is painless, and yes, the recovery is fast, and the results really do speak for themselves. So stop putting it off. Call them 615-436-2020, 615-436-2020. Find them online, visionforlife.com, to schedule your free consultation, and tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out. .657, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, real quick. The race to fill the seat vacated by Lindsey Graham's death is over now, at least for now. Donald Trump has announced that his sister will indeed be taking over his Senate seat.
I want to thank the governor for selecting me to serve the remainder of Lindsey's term. It is such an honor. Lindsey has always been there for me, and now I will be there for him. My brother was the most amazing person, outstanding leader, and just a genuinely good man. He was kind and considerate and loved by his family dearly. As I think everyone would agree, Lindsey worked harder than anyone.
So President Trump, of course, chiming in. This is who President Trump wanted, actually. Trump announcing in a Truth Social post on Monday that he had hoped to see Lindsey Graham's sister fill the vacant seat. She was formally selected to serve on an interim basis on Thursday afternoon. The president saying, I recommend to Governor Henry McMaster, Lindsey Graham's wonderful sister, Darlene, to serve as interim senator from the great state of South Carolina. The president wrote on social media, this would be a fabulous tribute to Lindsey, who loved her dearly. South Carolina, they talk about this in the article. South Carolina is likely to have 2 replacements for Graham in the next 6 months, one appointed by the governor to serve out the months remaining in his term, and another election to permanently fill the position for the next 6 years. Names that we talked about yesterday, Trey Gowdy. He has now said he is not in the running. Apparently, he has no interest. He's got a pretty cushy gig over there at Fox News. Do you know I was talking to somebody? Joan, you'll love this. Do you know that I was talking to somebody? I don't know if he's ever mentioned this, so I'm not going to say who it is. But somebody who I highly respect actually said that he thought that it's possible that Trey Gowdy is actually one of these aliens that is here on Earth.
It's because he looks like it.
He's got that big hair swoop thing going on.
If you ever see him turn his head sideways, you'll be able to see that he also has a ponytail.
Trey Gowdy has a ponytail?
Yeah. That's why it's all slicked back. Like it's puffy up here and slicked back. It's because there's a ponytail back there.
Apparently, Nancy Mace wanted a chance at replacing Lindsey Graham. According to senior officials in the White House, they felt no way she would be a disaster. Remember, she went against Donald Trump, against Trump over Epstein. So that was the whole thing. So we'll see who ultimately ends up running for that seat. And we will return coming up next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's 7 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. There's been a water main break in Nashville, and it has some neighborhoods waking up with low water pressure this morning. Now, this is a 12-inch main under Barnwell Court, and the water crews there say they had to close separate valves to isolate the affected areas. Now, crews have been working through the night. WSMV4 reports the break has been fixed and sealed, but water service restoration is still underway in the Old Hickory and Hermitage communities. A teenager has died after a swimming mishap at a rock quarry in Bellevue. Channel 4's Danielle Ledbetter.
Metro police say the 17-year-old boy and 3 other friends jumped into the quarry Sunday afternoon. Everyone else resurfaced, but he did not. They attempted to drag him to shore, but he ended up drowning.
Scuba Nashville owns that property, and it says that there are no trespassing signs and a locked gate, but teens have been able to sneak onto that property for years. Tennessee is among the states seeing an increase in cases of cyclospora. That's a parasite that causes severe stomach illnesses. Health officials say that Tennessee has reported between 11 and 30 cases as part of a larger nationwide outbreak. Restaurants have been changing what they're offering because of this outbreak. Here's ABC's Sophie Flay.
Some restaurants are now changing their menus as a parasitic intestinal infection linked to produce spreads across the country. The CDC is tracking cases of cyclosporiasis across at least 31 states, from California to New York. Officials have been unable to link the contamination to one supplier or grower. The CDC says outbreaks have typically been linked to fresh produce, such as lettuce, cilantro, and raspberries.
Happening today, Supreme Court Justices Elena Kagan and Amy Coney Barrett are making a rare appearance on Capitol Hill. They'll be there to testify before the House Appropriations Subcommittee about an increase in the High Court's security budget, adding about $14 million to its $200 million budget. There's been a sharp increase in the radical leftist activism angered about the court's recent decisions. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. Pre-market trading this morning looks mixed. The Dow futures are down 316, NASDAQ futures plus 174. S&P futures are down 5 points. And a check of oil prices this morning. Brent crude is now trading at $86.32 a barrel. That's a 3.6% increase from yesterday. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis from Super Talk 99.7 WTN and Nashville's Morning News. I'm here with Chris from USS, United Structural Systems. He's checking out my basement, my foundation, my crawl space to see if there's anything wrong. Fingers crossed. All right, so there's good news and there's bad news. The bad news is we found some cracks in my basement wall. The good news, I've got Chris here who's going to walk me through the next steps.
Yes, so unfortunately, your house has been subject to the pressure of the dirt. The hydrostatic pressure, heavy dirt pushes on foundation walls, and you got a little bit of what we call bowing. So that wall is pushed in a little bit. but we have a lifetime warranty solution for that. So we install, usually in a day or two, this can be done in most situations. We install carbon fiber straps, which keep the wall from moving inward at any point in the future. It's a lifetime warranty for anybody that ever owns this house. So it's a quick and routine thing that we do, but it yields some long-lasting benefits.
It's a great selling point if you want to sell your house.
Absolutely. Good thing about our warranties is they're not only transferable, like the contract says, they're automatically transferred when you sell your house. So you don't have to sign any paperwork or even send us an email saying that you sold your house. Warranty would transfer to your next.
Okay, so police activity now in Gordonsville on I-40 westbound past Alexandria, exit 254. There was a crash there, and drivers are reporting both that crash and some road work with police on the scene. Big old mess out there. Franklin, there's an accident on I-840 eastbound. It's past the Davis Hollow Road overpass. There's another one in Bordeaux on Clarksville Pike at Ashland City Highway. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.706 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Text line is open, 615-737-9986. Watch us on YouTube. You can watch us on X, 997WTN.com. Rumble, of course. You can listen to us on the radio, 99.7, and you can listen to us anywhere you stream your audio. And after the show is over, you can still download the podcast and watch us on YouTube after the fact. It's all right there at your fingertips. I want to welcome on into the program Matthew Hurt joining us, our grassroots political analyst. Matthew, how are you this morning?
Doing great, Dan. Just excited about this 9th District congressional race out in Tennessee that may, in fact, be impeachment insurance, as Brent Taylor said just a few minutes ago.
So what did you've obviously been listening, then what do you think about Donald Trump's endorsement of the state senator?
Well, look, this is one of the races. This is a redistricting effort that was pushed by national Republicans and executed by Republicans in the General Assembly there in Nashville. And so it makes total sense. This is on the president's radar. If we've now redistricted, if you're looking nationwide, and Republicans have redrawn 12 to 16 seats that are now more in their favor than previously, it's important that they win almost all of them, or at least, look, if they've gone into the effort to redraw these lines, and Tennessee 9 is one of them, if they don't win these, it says, well, what was all that effort for in some states? A lot of state-level politicians and elected officials put their political credibility on the line, and you want to win. So if you redraw these lines, you want to win them in November. So this is an important race.
By the way, Brent Taylor's opponent, Todd Warner, will be here at 8:05 to present his case to the people of Tennessee. So let's just get to Lindsey Graham, of course. We all know what happened over the weekend. One of the things that I find interesting about the Lindsey Graham, the senator, is that he was one of the Gang of Eight many years ago, and a lot of people, talking about immigration and how he wanted a pathway to citizenship. He and John McCain, if I'm not mistaken, and others. And he went from that to really being strong on illegal immigration to the point where it was like build a wall and mass deportation and all of that. So, he goes from being one of the members of the Gang of Eight, pathway to citizenship and all that, to, really hardcore Donald Trump, anti-illegal immigration. Quite a journey for Lindsey Graham.
Well, and it's the same as now Secretary of State Marco Rubio, but Senator Graham spent nearly 40 years in federal elected office, and it makes sense that someone would move a little bit on politics depending upon what is happening. In 2006, 2007, 2008, President George W. Bush was a big fan of increased immigration. There were Republicans who were supportive. In 2015, Senator Graham was an antagonist to Donald Trump. He said some pretty objectionable things about the then candidate Trump, and then became a close ally of his. And then right around January 6th, Senator Graham said, "Count me out, I'm done." And then when President Trump got elected again in 2024, became one of President Trump's strongest allies. There's just, a lot of people who pay attention to politics, they tune in when it's convenient, they tune in when they have time, they drop out when they have family obligations or work or life comes up, and it just shows that the totality of somebody's political record is not one or two sound bites or clips. It is a lot. It's legislation, it's public statements, it's what they do on the campaign trail. And Senator Graham was a complex guy with complex views, complex and evolving views over time, but it amounted to decades of service to the people of South Carolina.
You use the term evolving, and I think you're right. Some people will say, well, he flip-flopped on immigration. No, people do evolve. And it's not like, last year he felt one way and this year he felt another. He evolved over a long period of time. Do you see that in politicians? Because you follow this stuff a lot closer than I do, where they evolve as the party evolves.
Yes. And Dan, as I've said a million times in conversation with you, the political parties don't believe anything in particular. They express a viewpoint or a philosophy of the people who show up. So in 2010, 2012, it was a Tea Party vibe. In 2016 and 2020 and 24, it's America First or Make America Great Again. And so the parties have changed. And in fact, a lot of new voters come along. Many people have seen the meme of the far left getting further and further left and normal people just staying in the middle and then all of a sudden becoming right wing just because the far left has gone so far. And then, so that's what we see. I do think that elected officials may change positions for a number of reasons. They may genuinely have new information on an issue and change their mind. The political reality in the legislative process may change. For instance, in 2006 and 2008, we didn't have 25 million illegal aliens that Joe Biden let into the country.
Yep.
Or they may change political views because they know that is the dominant belief of their electorate. And so it's not one or the other. It's probably a combination of all three.
So you're talking earlier about the redistricting, and you and I have talked about this a lot over the past year or so. So do you think that the Republicans in the House of Representatives, clearly the redistricting has helped. Do you think they're safe as far as losing the House of Representatives? I've seen people say, well, they're safe now. I've seen other people say they're still not safe. What say you?
Well, Dan, I still think we're too far out. I think gas prices are still a little too high. I think whatever's going on in Iran is front of mind of a lot of people, and how it doesn't impact, or it does impact, the day-to-day lives of people who are trying to make the mortgage, trying to save for retirement, try to buy groceries. I do think that State Senator Taylor did say impeachment insurance, and I think that is the point of many of these redistricting efforts. And if we get to January 2027 and Democrats have the House, it is going to be investigations and impeachment all the time. So it's who can make the stronger argument to the voters. Are the left-wing voters fired up because Orange Man bad and they want to impeach everybody in the administration? Are conservative and Trump-supporting voters fired up because they want to ensure that the last 2 years of President Trump's agenda, it makes it across the finish line? And it depends on who is more fired up and who makes it to the polls.
I read this thing the other day. Matthew Hurt joining us. I read this thing the other day. It was really interesting, where they're talking about J.D. Vance and how he's already got like $80 million and a presidential infrastructure, running for president infrastructure, all ready to go. Marco Rubio apparently has done none of that. Is it a fait accompli that it's going to be J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio as the VP?
I don't know, but what I will say is Marco Rubio ran for president back in 2016, and a lot of people. One of the things that I've seen from the Lindsey Graham eulogies and obituary sort of public statements is he had the same political operation around him for decades, and so there's no doubt in my mind if Marco Rubio wanted to flip a switch and start building out the infrastructure, that he would go back to the people that he had spoken to and worked alongside for years. That seems to be 2 years out. It seems to be the two most interesting characters. I would be much more concerned about the fact that people like AOC is a front runner for the Democrats, and we've seen in the primaries for Democrats over the last several weeks, far left, even socialist candidates winning. And so, if it's J.D. Vance, if it's Marco Rubio, if it's somebody who hasn't yet waded into the conversation, it's got to be somebody at the front who is defeating socialism in 2028.
More with Matthew Hurt coming up next. It is 7:15. Time to check the roads on WTN.
Laverne, 24 westbound at Old Hickory Boulevard South. Accident blocks the HOV lane. East Nashville, Ellington Parkway, an accident southbound at Spring. Gordonsville, 40 westbound past Alexandria. Watch for police activity causing delays. I'm Christy O'Brien.
As far as weather goes, cloudy, showers, thunderstorms as well, and a high of 89. So, Matthew, we've got the debate going on here in Tennessee. I mean, you're from Middle Tennessee, so I know that you know all about it. Channel 5, just to keep people up to speed, Channel 5 was going to put on a debate. They invited Blackburn, they invited Rose, they invited Monty Fritz. So, of course, Marsha Blackburn, she's not debating. That's the bottom line. John Rose decided that he would not debate, only Monty Fritz. So that leaves Monty Fritz, hands in the air saying, well, wait a minute, what about me? So there's two questions. Number one, how do you feel about, just for people that haven't heard us talk about this before, how do you feel about Senator Blackburn not debating? And what do you think about the idea that John Rose decided that he would not debate only Monty Fritz?
So what's the point of a debate is the first question. A debate creates video clips for candidates to then use. Almost nobody watches a debate. Nobody who's not already decided watches a debate. So if I'm Marsha Blackburn and I've got 63% of support in the latest poll, I'm not going to debate. I don't need to debate. It makes no sense to debate. If I'm Monty Fritz or John Rose, who has been calling for debates, I want to spend that time on stage, what they call punching up. So you attack the front runner, who is Marsha Blackburn, and if John Rose can't punch up, it doesn't make sense for John Rose to participate in the debate, even though he has called for them. And Monty Fritz would be the only one who would benefit on net positive from a debate experience. If I were News Channel 5, I would have to wonder, do I want to? I've invited these three candidates to a debate. They've hemmed and hawed about it. We're going to host a candidate forum or some kind of conversation, and whoever shows up gets the publicity. And then they have to worry about, well, do we have to give equal time to the other candidates? If Monty Fritz is the only one who shows up and he gets 30 minutes or an hour, now we have to give 30 minutes or an hour each to John Rose and to Marsha Blackburn, which then eliminates, the debate is supposed to draw contrast. You're not going to do that in a one-on-one candidate conversation. So it doesn't make sense for Marsha to do it, and if Marsha's not doing it, it doesn't make sense for John Rose to do it. It only makes sense for Monty Fritz to do it.
All right, let me ask this question, though. Because according to John Rose's own polling, 15% are undecided. So wouldn't it make sense for him to debate? Because if one of or some of the 15% that are undecided tune in to a debate between he and Monty Fritz, they might like something that Rose would say, and that would allow him to gain some traction on Blackburn. I get what you're saying about punching up and punching down, but if you've got 15% that are undecided, and his claim is that he is he is closing the gap between he and Blackburn. Why would he not want to get in front of a televised audience in a debate, even if it's only between he and Fritz?
Dan, I'm going to sound real mean when I say this, but squabbling over second place isn't a place to be at the end of a primary. And I think that one of the things here is, even with 22% undecided, if you were to take a normal distribution of those undecided voters, most of whom won't watch a debate, many of whom, if John Rose and Monty Fritz don't have the money to put video clips in front of people, aren't going to see the debate, and many of whom won't tune in or won't even pay attention until a day or two before they decide to go vote, the distribution is going to be the same. So 22% undecided. If 3 out of 5 of decided voters are supporting Marsha Blackburn, then you can reasonably assume that 14% of those undecided voters are going to vote for Marsha Blackburn, and 2 or 3 of them will vote for John Rose, and 1 or 2 of them will vote for Monty Fritz. So that's just how it would play out in a conversation like this, given the poll numbers.
One of the things that I find interesting in all of this is that you have the Monty Fritz contingent. I did say this earlier in the broadcast. I don't know the last time I saw a more passionate bunch of people than the Monty Fritz voters. We're talking about how many yard signs Fritz has out there. We're talking about the online excitement, the passion for Monty Fritz from his supporters. Does that typically, and I know that every election has that person, what is the history where you see somebody who has that kind of support, that kind of passion from their supporters, but does that always translate into a win? Is there like a pattern here? What do you think?
Dan, you're talking to a former Ron Paul primary voter. I mean, Ron Paul won every online poll in the 2012 election cycle. It is what we call it's a cadre support. So they're highly motivated, highly engaged for their candidate. The problem in this three-way race, and it happened in 2006 in the Senate race with Bob Corker, Ed Bryant, and Van Hillary, is that Tennessee conservatives will have, and I'm not saying Marsha's not conservative, but Tennessee conservatives will have an option to go 1-to-1 against a moderate, and in 2006 it was Bob Corker. Both Ed Bryant and Van Hillary were the conservative candidates, and then 2 conservatives will get in the race. So if you wanted to go 1-to-1 against, the only way to defeat, or many times the only way to defeat a strong incumbent in a race like this, and she's not an incumbent in the gubernatorial race, but she gets all the benefits of incumbency, is to go 1-to-1. And so Monty Fritz and John Rose should have sat down at the beginning and said, hey, which one of us wants to carry the not Marsha Blackburn mantle and run? In a three-way race, it is almost always 99 times out of 100, voters are going to defer to the incumbent or the person with the biggest political presence.
So it's funny, we were talking about that earlier, so who's going to drop out? Is it going to be Rose? Is it going to be Monty Fritz? But I get the feeling that these two guys don't like each other, whatever. I mean, that's politics. But you're more of an insider with politics than I am. So, I mean, do you think it's possible that, number one, will one of them drop out? And 2, does that automatically mean that if John Rose drops out, everybody from the Rose camp is going to follow over to Monty Fritz, or if Fritz drops out, is it an automatic that those people are going to vote for John Rose?
At this point, no, and I don't even know if you could pull them off the ballot. Early voting starts pretty soon. Yeah. What I know of my friends who are Monty Fritz supporters, if Monty Fritz were to drop out, they wouldn't vote in the primary. And so people make voting decisions, especially in a primary election, based on a million different reasons. And I'll tell you this, I have voted in presidential primaries for the candidate I liked after that candidate dropped out. And so people aren't necessarily, and this isn't I've done this several times, so I'm not whacking anybody for this. People aren't necessarily rational when it comes to voting for somebody they like. And it is okay to do that. If one of those 2 candidates dropped out and they still happen to be on the ballot, it is okay to vote for that person. In Maine, Janet Mills was not, she was in the race against Graham Plattner, not really running. And so people still voted for her. I think there's a lot of decisions that go through somebody's mind. I don't ever fault somebody for voting their conscience in a primary contest. I have always voted my conscience in a primary contest, and then as a party official for a long time, I've gotten behind whoever the nominee is. And I think that's the important part is we only have two parties in this country in a first past the post, winner take all, two-party system. And after the primary, it's important to defeat the socialists.
All right, Matthew Hurt. Okay, I've got 45 seconds, just real quick. The massive, tilt to the socialist communist party from the Democrats. How badly is that going to hurt them in the midterm elections, or is it?
I don't know if it'll hurt them in the midterms. You're replacing far left Democrats with further left Democrats in races that Democrats are going to win.
What about the general?
In D+10, D+12 races districts, it is not going to hurt them at all. And you got to look at the enthusiasm of the people who think Orange Man is bad, and they will vote. They will vote for anybody against whoever the Republicans put up.
All right, always great to have you on, Matthew. Real quick, how can people follow you on X?
I'm on X at Matthew Hurt, MattheWHurtt.
All right, 7:25. Joan's got the news at 7:30. Joan.
Yeah, coming up here, the big factors that earned Tennessee a top spot on CNBC's worst state list. We'll tell you why they got that ranking, why we got that ranking. It's coming up at 7:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, very good. And it is 7:26 on Nashville's Morning News. Celebrate America's 250th birthday by declaring your independence from low testosterone at Low T Center. Now you can start with a free T-test. You can stay on treatment for 90 days and get $250 back. It is Low T Center's 250 for 250. It is going on right now. So guys, if you've lost a step or two, energy levels may be down, brain fog, and a lack of motivation, don't ignore the signs of low testosterone. Do yourself a favor and go to fixmylowt.com and get tested, get answers, and get your life back. Now, you deserve it. You know, a lot of guys, they're embarrassed to go get tested. It happens to a lot of guys. The smart ones seek answers and get help. Low T Center is the place that you need to go. Now, don't forget that great deal going on right now. You can start with a free T-test, stay on treatment for 90 days, and get $250 back. It is Low T Center's 250 for 250. It is going on right now. Find them online, fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com, and book your free T-test today. Offer ends July 31st. Terms and conditions apply. $7:27, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Dan Mandis here for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. If you've been suffering from chronic back, neck pain, knee pain, they can help you like they've helped so many others across Middle Tennessee, including me. Now, they did it for me years ago. They can do it for you today. So, again, if you've got chronic back pain, neck pain, knee pain, check them out, the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Whether it is non-surgical spinal decompression or the brand new Medical Bay One, they've always got the latest and the greatest technology to help get you off the sidelines and back into the game. Now, this Medical Bay One, right now, a great deal going on just for you. You mention my name, you get $33 back off each visit. As a matter of fact, it is the Epic Spinal Special. What is Medical Bay One? It uses red light technology and stem cell stimulation for tissue regeneration and healing. And again, you mention my name, you get $33 off of each visit. So have an active summer and feel like the person you used to be, courtesy of the Wellness Institute of Nashville, 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, painisbad.com.
Good morning. It's now 7:31. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. President Trump has endorsed State Senator Brent Taylor for the congressional seat to replace departing Democrat Steve Cohen. The president saying on Truth Social that Taylor will unleash American energy dominance, keep our border secure, stop migrant crime, and ensure law and order. Taylor, speaking with Dan Mandis earlier this morning, says that if he does win the primary, his opponent will be State Rep Justin Pearson.
And I will do everything I can to ensure that the only time he ever sees the inside of the United States Capitol will be through the Visitor Center on a guided tour and not through the members-only door. We need more David Crockett's in Congress and less Jasmine Crockett's.
Now, Taylor's Republican opponents for the primary include fellow lawmaker Todd Warner and retired Army Sergeant Jeremy Thompson. Got the breakout now of the factors that made up CNBC's sketchy poll that declared Tennessee as the worst state to live in. News 2 says it was based on the FBI's data showing Tennessee has one of the highest violent crime rates in the nation, low livable wages, paid leave, and rights to organize. And this.
CNBC also gave Tennessee a poor score for its inclusiveness, citing laws targeting the LGBTQ community, including the state's bathroom law requiring transgender people to use facilities designated for their sex at birth, and a resolution signed by Governor Bill Lee designating the month of June, which is otherwise known as Pride Month, to Nuclear Family Month.
Now, even Florida Governor Ron DeSantis defending the volunteer state from CNBC's claims, posting on X, if Tennessee really was the worst state to live in, people wouldn't be moving there in large numbers, which they are. In fact, most of the states deemed worst are red states, which says a lot about CNBC's bias here. That is the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. It is an accident in East Nashville on Ellington Parkway, southbound at Spring Street, Gordonsville. Still working I-40 westbound past Alexandria. A crash there, perhaps some road work in the same spot. And in Bordeaux, a crash at Clarksville Pike and Ashland City Highway. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.736 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. By the way, friends, don't forget on Saturday, Matt Murphy and I will be out at Contours in Cool Springs. It's an open house. You can see all about how that red light technology works. You can meet the staff and how they can help you lose inches off of your belly and wrinkles off your face. And I'm really looking forward to that. Me and Matt both will be there. I think they've got some refreshments that they're going to be serving as well. And Matt and I will be there from 11 to 1. Details, ContoursLLC.com. Michael Patrick Leahy is joining us on Super Talk 99.7. Always great to have you on, sir, of course, from the Tennessee Star. You and I have been talking about this story that you guys are really driving. Nobody else is. Of course, local media won't touch this. But Freddie O'Connell and the $1.5 million payments to these pro-illegal alien nonprofits. Now, Michael Patrick Leahy, you have been trying to, and your friends at the Tennessee Star, you've been trying to get, sort of some receipts on what exactly is this money? Where did it go for? Was it actually budgeted? And now it looks like the mayor, after saying, well, we're not going to be able to get this to you for quite some time. Now it looks like he's lawyered up. What's going on?
You're exactly right, Dan. Mayor Freddie O'Connell of Nashville has lawyered up, and he's claiming that releasing any documents related to the $1.5 million of Metro Nashville taxpayer funds that are going to these pro-illegal alien nonprofits, which are probably using it for legal fees to help illegal aliens stay in the United States. He's saying he can't release that because of attorney-client privilege. In essence, Dan, he is blatantly and brazenly violating the Tennessee Public Records Act using this flimsy excuse, which doesn't apply in this instance. And basically, he wants to be able to throw all this money towards illegal aliens and not have anybody look at it. This is such an incendiary act by Mayor Freddie O'Connell. Listen to this, Dan. Our story on this, which we put out on X, has, wait for it, since we put it out yesterday afternoon, 325,000 views.
Nice. Well, what is he trying to hide? Like, what do you think if you were going to, because you do a lot of investigatory stuff, so what do you think he's trying to hide?
Well, this originated 4 years ago with Biden administration American Recovery Plan money, right? The Biden administration gave lots of cities around the country, including Nashville, big piles of money, which they then used to support illegal aliens. There was, for 4 years, until June 30th of this year, about $3 or $4 million sent from the feds to Nashville and then to the Tennessee Immigration Refugee Rights Coalition and the Tennessee Justice for Our Neighbors group. The Metro clerk said, yeah, that money was used to pay for legal fees of illegal aliens. But this latest tranche, now the Biden money is gone. And so Mayor Freddie O'Connell sent a budget to Metro Nashville Council and said, hey, I want $1.5 million of this to go to these illegal alien groups, but I'm not going to tell you what it's for. It's just a line item. And they voted, pretty much a huge majority voted in favor of it. This money's been going out to these illegal alien groups since July 1st, and no one knows what it's for.
They just, I mean, I guess maybe I don't look at big city budgets, right? So, but it just seems unconscionable that in a time when we have property taxes being raised on businesses, we've got businesses being forced out of Nashville, that there can be a line item for $1.5 million and there's no accountability for it at all.
Well, there will be, but think about this. Now, Mayor Freddie O'Connell has lawyered up. I mean, who lawyers up on a small $1.5 million funding for illegal alien nonprofits, except somebody who wants to cover up what it's really been used for? So what he's doing is he's using all of the bureaucrats and lawyers who work for Metro Nashville, and he's covering up. He's blatantly and brazenly violating the Tennessee Public Records Act. We are going to sue him in court.
Okay.
And now that requires, time, energy, resources, et cetera. But, Dan, I'm going to night law school. This is one of the reasons I'm doing it, because we gotta litigate Tennessee Public Records Act requests because Metro Nashville has a pattern of hiding what they're doing with the money.
Well, and that doesn't surprise anybody. And I think, obviously, though, it's incredibly frustrating for people who are watching the city suffer. So now you've got to lawyer up. And it's kind of sad, actually, that you have to lawyer up to get some accountability for, funds that the state is giving, apparently, to, or the city is giving to groups that support illegal aliens, when we have a state that is so incredibly anti-illegal alien. One of the things, just moving on from there, unless there's something else to discuss on that, but moving on from there, I'm noticing that you and the Tennessee Star are calling out the guy from CNBC who came up with that utterly ridiculous poll. Joan was just doing it in the news that said that the state of Tennessee is the worst place to live or move to in America. What a ridiculous notion. And do you think that was purposeful? Like, does he know that he's lying, or does he know that he's wrong, or is he just that clueless?
I think it's a little bit of, political motivation. It's also, I think, an indication that CNBC's reputation for integrity has been totally blown away by this guy's ridiculous claim that Tennessee is the worst state in the union to live in. 15% of their ratings for the best state to do business is quality of life. And what do we focus on? Inclusiveness and climate change and all that kind of crazy
Well, and
stuff.
Florida was number 2.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So I think, was it Florida or Texas? One of them, Texas or Florida, was number 2.
Texas was the second worst.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing. I've challenged this knucklehead. His name is Scott Cohn. To come on my radio show. He could probably come on yours and defend this ridiculous claim. Tennessee, I love Tennessee. I moved here in 1991 with my family. It is the greatest state in the union. The people are great. The landscape is beautiful. It's just a great climate, no state income tax. Everybody knows it's the best state in the union. Now, this basically indicates that CNBC is a joke.
Yeah.
And we are highlighting what a joke he is. Now, a lot of people, Dan, say, well, we're okay. You tell all the libtards that Tennessee's a bad place to live, so they will stay away.
Yep.
The problem is it's such a great place. People are going to be moving in here.
Right.
And most of the people moving in here come in with Tennessee values. They come here for that. But, if the crazies who care about transgendering young children don't like living in Tennessee, let them stay in California. This guy, by the way, do you know where he lives?
Where's that?
Santa Cruz, California.
Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah.
My question to him is going to be, Scott Cohn, were you born stupid, or did you become stupid after going to journalism school at the University of Wisconsin, working for NPR, working for local television news stations, or when you joined CNBC? It's hard to know because he's dodging my question.
Oh, I'm sure that he is. All right. More with Michael Patrick Leahy coming up next. Michael, do you want to do some debate talk coming up after the traffic?
Sure.
All right. It's 7:45. Time to check the roads on WTN.
No problems on 65 or 24. No unusual delays on 40 or 440. I'm Christy O'Brien.
As far as weather goes, cloudy showers and thunderstorms today, high of 89. Michael Patrick Leahy from the Tennessee Star joining us. All right, so last time you and I spoke, a lot has happened. It's been a minute, so let's just talk real quick. Marsha Blackburn still not agreeing to debate. John Rose now, Channel 5 came out with their debate. They offered Blackburn, John Rose, and Monty Fritz the opportunity to debate. And I think it was on July 20th? Whatever it was. July 20th? Okay, July 20th. And so Blackburn wasn't going to be there. So then John Rose decides that he is not going to only debate Monty Fritz. Now, there's all kinds of political people that'll tell you, Rose is right. Others will say that Rose is wrong. I believe that if there's 15% of the vote that is still up for grabs, according to Rose's own poll, that he should debate Monty Fritz because people can discover what John Rose believes in, and he is there debating, and Marsha Blackburn, Senator Blackburn, is not. He decided instead to bow out. What do you think of this whole debate about the debate?
Well, I mean, if you're way ahead in the polls and you don't have challengers who are polling, much above single digits, there's really no incentive to engage in a debate, point number one. Point number two, if you look at the candidates right now, I've had Monty Fritz on, and Monty, doesn't have a lot of money. His polling is in kind of the single digits. And let's be honest, I know your listeners like Monty, but he's a very fringe guy. And he basically said things like, I won't enforce Tennessee voucher law, even though the Tennessee Supreme Court has declared it legal. So I don't think he's really a credible candidate. John Rose can spend a lot of money. People know about all these candidates. I don't think a debate at this point really adds much value.
So, Michael Patrick Leahy, what is your email so people can send you the hate mail? Because you're right.
I'm happy.
People,
I'm happy to
people
talk
on
to
this
anybody.
radio station love Monty Fritz, or people who listen love Monty Fritz. But the thing is, for me and the Monty Fritz stuff, okay. So for me though, do you think it's a smart move or a bad move for John Rose not to debate Monty Fritz? I mean, regardless of Monty's credibility, according to you, I just think that the congressman is missing an opportunity to reach some undecided voters.
I don't give John Rose advice. I don't give advice to a guy who served in the administration of Don Sundquist at the time that Don Sundquist was trying to raise state income taxes.
All right. Well, I guess we'll just leave it there then. I would say that I think that he really should debate Monty Fritz. I also believe that Marsha Blackburn should debate as well, but I understand the reasoning why she won't. But we will leave it there. Michael Patrick Leahy, always great to have you on. TennesseeStar.com, and appreciate you being. How can people follow you on X?
Oh, just go to Michael P. Leahy. Happy to talk to anybody.
All right. Very good. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Dan.
All right. 7:50 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Oh, man.
I think that he might hear from some Monty Fritz and some John Rose supporters. He threw both of the candidates there right under the bus. So anyway, we'll see. I don't know. Maybe, am I wrong on this? Maybe I'm wrong. I think that let's do a Daily Dan poll. Did we already do this?
Yes.
We did already do this. This is the way, Joan, this is how my day is going. So what did people say? Should John Rose debate Monty Fritz?
93% say yes.
Okay, so I'm not wrong on this. Yeah. All the highfalutin political people can disagree with me all they want, but I'm not wrong on this.
Well,
I feel strongly about this.
Michael Patrick Leahy obviously makes some good points upon it, but there are people not as connected as him that want more transparency as to the campaign promises and policies that Marsha Blackburn and John Rose are running on. And I'm sorry, but just repeating the line that we have to stop China from buying our farmland, we already have laws on the books on that.
I was going to say, we already have laws on the books on that. But listen, if you want any information, do you know what I'm going to do, Joan?
What's that?
Do you know what my wife has been nagging me to do?
Take the trash out.
Cut the grass.
Pick your underwear up.
Oh my goodness gracious! Can you two stop?
Unfold your socks before you put them in the basket.
So
And put the seat down.
Okay, so when I tell you two to stop, I think what I'm going to do, because, I asked all three of those candidates the same darn questions, right? By and large. Marsha Blackburn, John Rose, and Monty Fritz. So I've asked them basically the same questions. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab, and Amy's been telling me to do this for like weeks. I'm going to take their answers from all three questions, play them all back to back to back, and it'll be as close as we're going to get to a debate.
Be doing the people a service, Dan.
I like that.
The hours because that's going to take a long time.
They're all 40-something minute interviews.
I know. It's like 3 hours long total. So, but you know what? I mean, I think that's the closest that we're going to get to a debate. And I think we need to do it. So
Harry Fisher wants to know, why can't wives put the seat back up?
That's not even funny.
Yeah, Joan. Who said that? Sam?
Perry in the YouTube chat.
Carrie?
Perry.
Perry's a man. Yeah, Perry. You go, boy.
It was not a woman that asked that question.
Listen, I've had women say the same thing. I've actually said that. Why can't you simply put the thing back down? That was my first wife.
No.
We know how that one worked out.
He's asking, why can't women put it back up?
Why can't women put... at the end, when they're done?
Big brain questions.
Come on, Joan. Why can't you put it back up?
Big brain?
Big brain. Wow.
What?
I think we're just bound to piss off everybody in this particular segment. All right, it is 7:52.
At least you say we don't discriminate.
No, we don't. Clearly, we don't. 7:52. Joan's got the news coming up at 8 o'clock. Joan.
Yeah, another ICE shooting, this time in Maine. Also, inflation numbers just out this morning. We'll take a look. You're going to be happy with this one. It's coming up at 8 at Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hi, it's Dan Mandis. When it comes to your health, would you rather know what is going on inside your body or just hope that everything is okay? A lot of people feel great but have no idea that something is happening beneath the surface until much later and maybe too late. It's that idea of knowing versus not knowing that really stuck with me, which is why I decided to check things out for myself at Kraft Body Scan. I've told the story of my dad who had heart disease, and we begged him to go to the doctor and get checked out, but he never would. And sadly, he never would live long enough to see his grandkids born. My father passed away shortly before they were born, and that's why I feel so strongly about Kraft Body Scan and what they do. Now, the scans are quick, non-invasive, and you're going to walk out with real answers as to what's going on with your body. It is fast, easy, and it can give you real peace of mind or an early heads up before symptoms even show up. And right now, Kraft Body Scan is offering my listeners their couples heart and lung scan valued at $2,500 for just $99. To take advantage of it, just go to togetherwescan.com or call them at 615-436-1000. Use promo code DAN50. That's promo code DAN50. This summer, don't just hope that everything is okay. Know you're okay. Again, that's togetherwescan.com, 615-436-1000, promo code DAN50. 757 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, you'll love this, Joan. So apparently the most controversial thing that we've done this morning is talk about the toilet seat up or down.
Yeah.
So Sam has concocted a poll regarding the toilet seat and how women should be putting it up for the men or men should be putting it down for the women.
How should the toilet seat be treated? Men should put it down, women should put it back up, or teamwork. Share peace, not pee.
Do you know what I've always felt is one of the tenets of conservatism, Joan, is accountability.
Yes.
So if I walk into the toilet and I notice that it's up or down, well, then I'm going to adjust it accordingly based upon my needs at the time. And so if I have to sit down and I fall into the toilet because I'm not looking, that's on me, not the significant other in my life, right? And if you fall into the toilet, Joan, if we're following the tenets of conservatism and you fall into the toilet, that's on you.
No.
Look down, Joan. It's the same thing with the fire ants. Look down.
Wear shoes.
Listen, there's a reason why there's a seat cover, right? There's a reason for it. You cover the ugly. You must put the seat down to not see, because toilet seats aren't pretty, right? They're
Right.
not pretty. There's a reason there's a lid. The lid should be on it at all times, because your dog could walk over and lick out of that bowl. Your kids could wash their toys in it.
Okay,
Seats need to be-
first of all, no kid of mine is going to be dumb enough to wash his toys in the toilet. Now, Bandit drinking out of it, my dog is so damn dumb. He would absolutely do that. I wonder if Richside Canine Nashville can actually teach dogs not to drink out of the toilet.
Easily.
You think so?
Maybe
That's
they could
100%
teach
their
dogs to follow up on their male owners and close the lid.
They could probably teach him that.
It's all about, Joan, it's all about accountability. You do you. When you walk in, it's not up to me to do what you need to have done to the toilet. Do it yourself. Aren't men and women created equal, Joan? Don't you have the same capabilities and abilities that men do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Dan, close the lid. It's so simple. It's so simple. Just close the lid.
Joan, raise the lid. It's so simple.
Equal rights, equal toilet treatment.
All right, we got to go. 8 o'clock, WTN.
Good morning, 8 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. We've got your full forecast and traffic still to come. For the second time in a week, a person has been shot dead by ICE agents. And now we're hearing from witnesses to the shooting in Maine on Monday involving a driver, ABC's Pierre Thomas.
ICE has put out a statement late on Monday evening in which they're describing an incident where they were looking for a undocumented or person that they were trying to deport who was at a specific address. They had information and that a person left that address that ended up somehow interacting with them in a way that they felt was aggressive and that shots were fired.
An ICE spokesperson telling NBC News, quote, an illegal alien departed the residence in a vehicle. ICE law enforcement attempted to conduct the vehicle stop. The vehicle attempted to flee the scene. Perhaps that should be the person driving the vehicle attempted to flee the scene. And fearing for public safety, an officer discharged his weapon. The governor of South Carolina now appointing Lindsey Graham's sister to take his U.S. Senate seat for the remainder of his term.
Lindsey has always been there for me, and now I will be there for him. Now to Lindsey, I miss you more than I can even put into words. But I'm going to do this. I got it.
President Trump had announced earlier in the day that he would like to see Darlene Graham Nordone finish out the term. A special primary will be held sometime next month, and his replacement will be chosen during the November election. A 2-month-long drug trafficking investigation is just wrapped up in Murray County. The sheriff's office saying search warrants executed over the weekend turned up more than 1,500 fentanyl pills, cocaine, and other illegal narcotics, and nearly $58,000 in cash. But the TBI isn't saying if there were any arrests made in that case. In Manchester, city parks were hit by graffiti, and a lot of it with offensive words. Mayor Joey Hobbs spoke with WSMB4.
We had quite a bit of vandalism from bridges to greenways to actually trees. It's always the few that create the problem for the masses.
Yeah, it happened along the Little Duck River Greenway on Saturday night. Police are asking anybody with information to call them. It's not the first time either. A few months ago, Manchester bathrooms were vandalized. The mayor says the city is looking to install cameras now along the Greenway. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. Inflation pulled back in June. The Bureau of Labor Statistics revealed consumer price index declined 0.4% in June. Economists were expecting a 0.1% decline. Stock futures this morning going a little bit higher. We've got Dow futures down 115 now. That is a little bit better than it had been. NASDAQ futures are plus 300. S&P futures plus 15 points. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Bradley Parkway southbound at Elm Hill Pike. You've got some debris in the two right lanes. Watch it as you're traveling in that area. Woodbine, an accident. The right lane blocked I-440 eastbound at Nolensville Pike, and a crash in Brentwood on Old Hickory Boulevard at Hearthstone Lane. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.806, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends and hope you are doing well. And welcome on into the fourth and final hour of Nashville's Morning News for this Tuesday. And welcome to Nashville's Morning News, State Representative Todd Warner. Todd, how are you?
Good, Dan. Good to be with you this morning.
So you're running against Brent Taylor for the 9th Congressional District. And was it a gut punch that he got the endorsement from Donald Trump?
Now, with the endorsements that he had lined up day one, within minutes after us closing the special session, we kind of expected it was coming.
It was like he announces, and then he's got, Marsha Blackburn and Haggerty, and he's got Bill Lee. Just everybody was like all lined up, and I did hear. And just so you know, I'm neutral on all you guys, right? So But I did hear from some folks that were a little put off by the fact that he had all of that stuff lined up right when he announced, almost like he was being sort of anointed, if you will.
Yeah, I think that's a very correct statement. We had a caucus meeting. We gavelled into special session, had a caucus meeting, and we were told in the caucus meeting that the district was drawn for him. I think he lives just a couple miles inside of it. That's the reason that district went all the way over there into Shelby County and took in where he lives. And we were made aware of that in caucus meeting.
So they told you in caucus that the district, the 9th Congressional District that was redrawn, was specifically redrawn for him?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Why would they do that?
I guess he wanted to run, or they had, had intentions for him to run, but we were told that in caucus meeting, and and that's the way it ended up. That's the map we passed.
So what was your reaction to that?
At the time, I didn't think much about it. Before I considered getting in the race, I asked several of the representatives that's in this 9th district. I asked Scott Sapicki, Clay Doggett. I asked Senator Joy Hensley. I asked Senator Paige Wally. I asked Representative Bolso. Some of them to see if, to encourage somebody from Middle Tennessee to run. Mm-hmm. And none of them was going to run. So I stepped up. I had several people ask me to run and stepped up and got in the game.
So talk a little bit about the difference between you and Senator Taylor. I know that, you're how many generations now? 8 generation? Eighth generation farmer. And so is that one of the biggest differences between you and Senator Taylor?
Yes, sir. And I'm also a small business owner. I do have a construction company. We move site work and utilities, move earth and things like that. And I'm from the rural part, part of the rural part of the district. But as you know, this district stretches from Bedford County in the east all the way to Memphis, but it's mainly made up of small town Tennessee, rural communities, farming communities, and I think I'm a better fit for the district than what he is.
Have you made your way to the Memphis part, the Shelby County part of this district?
Oh, absolutely.
How's that going?
Yeah.
How's your accent go over in that part of the?
Yeah, well, it's a little different over there, no doubt. But we were over there last night on the Todd Starnes show for a debate there, mm-hmm. which I think made our 4th or 5th debate that we've had so far. Mm-hmm. We've got one more coming up Thursday night with the Williamson County GOP and Steve Hickey. So looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people are talking about China. That's even made its way up to the governor's race as well. We do have laws and as a farmer, you can speak to this better than I can. We do have laws in our state prohibiting China from buying land here in our state. Bigger issue at the federal level. Talk about that.
Well, I've supported all those laws here in the state, and I think we should ban China from buying any land in Tennessee or across the United States, as far as that goes.
Yeah,
it's not a good idea to let them in here.
Well, and I agree. What are the main things that you're running on as a farmer? There's people that will say, well, we need legal immigration. Not illegal immigration. That's kind of where I'm at. Is like Biden let in 25 million illegals into this country. Farmers will tell you that they need that labor, and so I think that's kind of a dicey conversation that Republicans have.
It is, and I'm all for legal immigration coming through the proper channels, being able to track these folks and keeping up with them, and them paying their share of their taxes while they're here. Then apply for citizenship, do it the right way. But all the illegals they gotta go. If you didn't come here the right way, you got to go back, come through the proper process to get in here to get here illegal.
So you're running to for the 9th Congressional District. So I'm gonna rapid fire some federal issues at you.
Okay.
And number one, I'm assuming you're a law and order guy. Like all conservatives have to be law and order at this point.
Absolutely, backer blue 100%.
What did people say in Memphis when you went there? How are they feeling about the additional law enforcement to make Memphis safe initiative? How are they feeling about that?
I think the ones that stand on our side, the Republican side, they appreciate it. I think most of the Democrats appreciate it. It's that few radical left that don't. But for the most part, they appreciate what President Trump's done there and what the governor's done, and they're happy with it.
It is so bizarre to me that you'll have people that are screaming, that are angry over what the president did and what we did here in Tennessee, and they're screaming in Memphis, and they're screaming, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. Well, it's the Black lives that are being saved, with the murder and mayhem that has been going on in Memphis.
Absolutely. They, the black community ought to be happy with it because we're saving more black lives than we are anybody's lives at this point right now, I think.
One of the things that, and I had Senator Taylor on earlier, and it is his assumption that Justin Pearson is going to be the nominee for the Democrats. And so, one of the things that politicians have to do is define their opponents. And so if you ultimately end up as the nominee for the Republicans, how would you define Justin Pearson? I'm going to let you cogitate on that because I got to take a quick break for traffic. 15 seconds on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. As far as your weather goes, cloudy, showers, and a thunderstorm. High of 89. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News. Super Talk 99.7. State Representative Todd Warner is joining us. All right, so Todd, define your opponent, Justin Pearson, if you end up as a nominee for the 9th.
Far left, radical, activist. Gets no farther left, activist, and to be nice about it, he's a clown.
You know what? I would agree with that. I would agree that he is. A lot of these folks are. It's just an epic clown show.
Right.
One of the things that was going on during the special session, you were the one that walked through the Capitol with was a Trump flag around your shoulders?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I've done that.
Talk about that because we actually had some fun with that. I thought, who the heck is that with a Trump flag around his shoulders? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, it was just, I support our president 100%. We were called racist. We were called pigs, everything under the sun up there. And my office is on the 4th floor in Cordell Hull with a bunch of Democrats are. And I was hearing, they were going to do things. They released all the chirpings, I don't know what you call them, but all the chirping things. I was just hearing everything they were going to do. So it was just a little gig at them. But I support our president 100%. Tennessee done the right thing by this redistricting. We've seen these blue states do it, but when we done it here in Tennessee, we're called a bunch of racists.
Well, and I think I don't remember exactly what I said at the time, but I know that from an emotional standpoint, you're right. It's like, they want to give you the middle finger, which they have been, certainly these Democrats in the state of Tennessee. And so it's kind of like a middle finger right back. I found it interesting. It's like every election across the state and really across the nation on the Republican side, people are trying to align themselves with Donald Trump, and I understand why. So I want to go through just some real quick, as I said, federal issues, and you can just tell us how you feel about them. Spending. So, we are massively in debt. Or talk about fiscal responsibility.
Got to be cut. Should cut all regulations. Spending government is not the answer to nothing. Mm-hmm. We should be working in every department of government to do, to make cuts. The Postal Service should be privatized.
Yep.
In my opinion, just for an example.
Yeah. What do you think of schools at the federal level? Because you're running to be a congressman. So talk about the Department of Education.
I support Donald Trump's effort 100% to do away with the Department education. I'm all about local control. I think my record in the State House shows that. I'm for, shrinking the State Department of Education as much as we can and putting that control back to our locals when they do a good job. I get it. We have some bad actors. There has to be some things that go on like what we did in Memphis by taking over the Memphis school board. I agree with those things, but I'm all about local control when the locals do their part.
So you're a state rep. Where were you on the vouchers, on the Freedom Scholarships?
I was a no.
You're a no?
About 20 conservatives. Yeah, we're funding Muslim schools, and it's not a true school choice bill. And I can give you an example of that. I live down in Marshall County in Chapel Hill. If I want to take my child out of Chapel Hill Elementary and bring that child to Franklin Special School District, they charge me $4,000 for an out of county into the city of Franklin. Now, if I want to take my child to a Muslim school, I can get that voucher. That's not right, and that's not true school choice. And we brought this to leadership's attention in Nashville, and it wasn't, they didn't seem to be worried about it. But now it's been a big topic. Every debate that we've been in, 4 or 5, Muslim Sharia law has been the number one issue pretty much we've talked about, and we're funding it in Tennessee with your tax dollars.
So what would you say is the biggest, from a legislative or issue-oriented standpoint, the biggest difference between you and Senator Taylor?
I'm going to be a voice for the people. Senator Taylor has already got 15, 16, 20 promises to fulfill for these endorsements that he's got. The only endorsement I need is the endorsement of the people, and I feel like I will get it. And I will be a true voice for the people of the 9th District, not for the special interests, not for the career politicians, not for the lobbyists.
When you talk about, because you're 8th generation farmer, so do you feel like President Trump has done right by the farmers?
Yeah, I think President Trump, I know the tariffs have been tough. I get it. I've suffered some of that consequence. Fortunately, I have a small business that I make money from too, but I get what President Trump's trying to do. He's trying to level the playing field, and it's been tough. It's been tough on farmers, and they've got to have some help. What do you grow on your farm? Corn and soybeans.
So you're a soybean farmer. So didn't Trump do something? It was just a couple of weeks ago where he struck a deal where soybean farmers were going to get a lot of business because I don't think it was Iran. I can't remember the deal, but there was a deal where President Trump struck a deal to help the soybean farmers across the nation, and I mean specifically since here in Tennessee we have soybean farmers.
Right.
Them as well. Is business tough for soybean farmers these days?
It is tough. Let me tell you, you've got $5 fuel.
Yeah.
You've got a bag of corn seed that costs you $350 to plant, one bag. You got fertilizer that's $850, $900 a ton. But then when you sell your commodity, your corn at the market, it's still bringing the price it brought back in the 90s. Those numbers just don't work for the American farmer. And they've got to have help. I appreciate President Trump's effort to try to level that playing field.
I know it was really controversial when he spoke about bringing meat in from other countries. I can't remember, was it Brazil that he would talked about bringing meat in?
Could have been.
And farmers lost their ever-loving minds because they already feel like, as you said, it's an unfair playing field.
Right. And we should always, promote America first if we can. I support his America agenda, Tennessee, America first, Tennessee always. That's my motto.
You happy with, as we wrap this up, are you happy with the president and his trying to help the rural hospitals?
Yeah, we've got to protect our rural hospitals. We've got to try to save our rural hospitals. A lot of these communities that are throughout this 9th district, I mean, once their rural hospital's gone, it could be an hour and a half, 2 hours to the next hospital.
Yeah.
And they need some kind of rural health care. We've got to put something in place. But as we close down, the one thing that, that voters have got to ask themselves when they go into the voting box to vote is they got to ask themselves, does Middle Tennessee need Memphis, or does Memphis need Middle Tennessee? That's the question that we've got to ask ourselves.
So what's next for you on the campaign trail? You're obviously not worried about the Trump endorsement for Brent Taylor. I mean,
No.
you got to keep on keeping on.
We got to keep on keeping on. We got an event tonight in Nolensville. We have a debate Thursday night in Nolensville with the Williamson County GOP, and we're going to win this thing. Don't count us out.
Nobody's counting you out. Nobody's counting you
don't count
out.
us out. 'Cause, hey, let me tell you this, and we'll get off when you're ready to get off. Look, we've knocked 25,000 doors or better. We're in the mailbox. We're on TV, and we're on social media. We're beating them everywhere. We are ahead in the polls as of yesterday. I don't know what the Trump endorsement did, but we were ahead in the polls. We've been attacked for the last 3 or 4 weeks with mailers being mailed into the district, and we're a threat to them, and they know it. And the people of this district know that if Todd Warner gets elected, he will be the voice of the people, not the establishment.
So what's your website? How can people get a hold of you?
Todd at votewarner.com.
Okay. Very good. Thank you, Todd. And we'll talk to you on down the road.
Thank you, sir.
It is 8:23. Joan's got the news coming up at 8:30. Joan.
Yeah, what was printed on a guy's T-shirt that prompted the flight crew to order him to change his shirt or find another flight? Got that story and more coming up at 8:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis. Don't forget, Friday, August 7th, the Glock store is having a VIP day featuring the brand new O-Side optics. These are all the rage. I don't know if you've seen the reviews, but they've been phenomenal. Bigger, clearer viewing window and an excellent value for the price. The Glock store has them. Now, these O-Side optics, they've got a longer battery life and multiple brightness settings, all designed to make you a more accurate shot. Now, what do I always say about the Glock store? They've always got the latest and greatest equipment. Now, coming up on Friday, August 7th, from noon until 5, you are going to get a chance to check out these O-Side optics up close and personal with the Glock store. You're going to be hands-on with O-Side optics in the Shoot 270 shooting rooms. Get expert CCW tips and tactics, learn red dot install and bore sighting techniques, and yes, enjoy a delicious catered lunch. This is going to be a massive event at the Glock store again, Friday, August 7th. When you buy your tickets, you're going to get a big old gift bag full of gear worth over $2,000. And that's going to include a brand new O-Side optic. Go to glockstore.com/VIP to grab those tickets. That is Friday, August 7th. There's even more O-Side events on Saturday, the 8th, with hands-on range time, great giveaways, exclusive indoor discounts, free O-Site swag, and a whole lot more. It is O-Site August at the Glock store. Tell him Dan Mandis told you to reach out. The Glock store, minutes from the airport and worth the drive from anywhere. Hey, it's Dan Mandis. Want to tell you about my friends at Loan Pronto. Listen, if you have a 2, 3, or 4% mortgage rate, do not refinance it. You don't have to. You can still get cash out of your home through my friends at Loan Pronto. Introducing Loan Pronto's zero-cost equity loans. That's right. With Loan Pronto, you can get all the cash you need without touching your first mortgage and without any fees. One local homeowner just got $100,000, paid off all their credit cards, paid off their existing HELOC, remodeled their kitchen, and saved over $1,500 every single month. But wait, it gets better. There's no hard credit pull up front, usually no appraisal, no long drawn-out process, and listen, no closing costs when you go through Loan Pronto. You may even be able to skip your next 2 house payments. Call Loan Pronto, leave your low-rate mortgage intact, but get the cash you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. LoanPronto.com. See how much you can get right now at 615-499-5780, 615-499-5780, LoanPronto.com. For qualified homeowners, equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, NMLS ConsumerAccess.org.
Good morning. It's 8:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Full forecast and traffic still to come. President Trump vows to have control of the Strait of Hormuz very quickly, saying the naval blockade is back on. And he's even considering charging a fee to get through the strait. That'll help pay for the security there.
Right now, it looks like each side believes that they have more leverage over the other to control the straits, to charge fees, regardless of where the body of law sits when it comes to international law. So I think this is where the showdown is heading on who is going to control the strait, how is that going to happen, and who, if anyone, will be able to charge tolls for ships coming in and out of the Gulf.
That's ABC's Javed Ali. Darlene Graham Nordone is being sworn into office as interim U.S. Senator from South Carolina today, taking over for her brother, Lindsey Graham.
It is such a privilege to get to finish some of his important work, and I promise to work hard over the next several months to support the president and carry forward the efforts of my brother on behalf of the citizens of South Carolina and the United States.
She becomes the first sibling to take over for a brother or sister after their unexpected death. And a New Jersey man says a United Airlines flight crew forced him to change his T-shirt before boarding a flight from Atlanta to Newark Liberty. Sam Sadah's shirt read, "Bombing kids is not self-defense." Now, Saddah said that he changed the shirt because he wanted to get home, but described the interaction with the flight attendant as humiliating. United's contract of carriage states that the airline may refuse transportation to passengers who are not properly clothed or whose clothing is lewd, obscene, or offensive. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. June inflation data came in really good this morning. Dow Jones Industrial starting off, though, 85 points lower. The NASDAQ is plus 134, S&P 500 index up 13 points at the start here. There's the latest news. We've got your traffic and weather ahead. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. An accident on Briley Parkway southbound at Elm Hill Pike, exit number 7. The 3 right lanes are blocked off by it. There's some debris in the roadway there. Also, Donaldson, Briley Parkway southbound, the on-ramp from Elm Hill Pike. That's debris cleanup as well. Rutledge Hill, South 2nd Avenue. Make that 2nd Avenue south at Lindsley Avenue. There's a crash. And also just outside of Vandy, West End Avenue at Ackland Park Drive. Watch for an accident scene there. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning after on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, can I ask a question? And maybe you know this, Sam. Maybe the hit part, Joan, of the 4 of us can tell me. What exactly is it that they're giving away when they say, give it away, give it away, give it away? What are they giving away?
Their love.
Their love.
Say that with air quotes.
I thought that they weren't giving anything away because they said, give it away, give it away. Nah. I thought at the end they decided to keep it. You know what's so funny? They lose me by the second give it away. Give it away, give it, and I'm already gone. Nah. No, this is a terrible
That's an
song.
Eagles song, so.
It's a what?
I'm Already Gone is an Eagles song.
Yeah, but this is the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I feel like they're blue cold, actually. Seen them in concert. Have you?
And?
Meh. I feel like this is my reaction to like every concert I've ever been to.
Every
concert?
Yeah.
Meh.
Really?
I'm not like a live music guy.
I am not either. I am not a concert person at all.
My wife loved him. But
Yeah.
Joan, what about Phil Collins and your and John's first ever date?
That was a date.
She was way more infatuated with John than she was Phil.
Yes.
Did you tell John when he told you that you were going to go to a concert? Did you tell him, "Oh, I don't like concerts"?
Oh, heck no.
She liked John, Dan.
You know why? Because she could feel it in the air that night.
I knew you were going to do that.
Not even close, man. It was pretty on the money.
Yeah,
it really wasn't actually.
Yeah, it was.
No, it was. It really wasn't.
Maybe
What is-
someday you'll
Give
play
me-
cool music like that, Sam.
Give me your best shot, Dan. That's what it is. You know, no. Here's what. No. Here's. I feel like this is going to be a harsher debate than Blackburn Rose or Fritz. Who did it better? Was it me, Sam, or Dan? I think it was me. Here's what we're going to do. I think it was me. We are going to pull the original song and the three of us, and tomorrow we'll all decide who did it better. And I guarantee you, no one is going to say me. Everybody, you know what they're going to do? What's your name, Chris? They'll say that You got to write it down. They'll say that Joan did it best, and she didn't even do it. It's true.
Yeah.
Joan, you want to do it in the air tonight? Go. Drum fill, go.
I'm good. Thanks, guys.
What did you almost say? You said, I'm fa.
I said I'm fine.
Oh,
No.
you're fa. I thought you said you were something else.
No, I'm fine, Dan.
Well, Dan. So you guys did a thing yesterday.
Wait, I love the. By the way, I was online yesterday and I looked at the cookie.
The fortune cookie thing
Yeah,
that they did,
I love
where
that. Was
Marsha
that
Blackburn, it says, well, Dan, on the fortune.
Was that you, Sam, that did that?
That was me.
Nice job.
Well, I think it was a collaborative effort between Sam and Chris.
Okay.
No, Sam did the footwork, and then I got it to the right people to get it posted.
I just did it for the lulz, and Chris said, we can use this.
Sam did it for the love of the game. Now, can I ask you a question? Like, how many people have commented on that post now? 2,300 people.
Woo!
Do I get any of that love because Well Dan started with me? So if we were like songwriters, I should get at least some semblance of credit.
know, I don't even think people commented on the Well Dan. People were just commenting that they're voting for Monty Fritz.
Everybody disagrees with me. I'm just going to say this. All the really smart political people disagree with me about the whole John Rose thing. And because I think that he should be debating Monty Fritz, because if you're 15 percentage points behind, as he says, why would you not try to pick off some Blackburn supporters or some Monty Fritz supporters? Because if Monty can get some Blackburn supporters and Rose can get some Blackburn supporters, then she goes down and maybe he gets, a preponderance of the supporters if Rose does well. I just find it. What does he have to lose?
I find it disrespectful that Monty is willing to do it, but the other two are like, no.
And,
oh, heavens no.
And the television station ditches on Monty.
Yep.
Yeah, I do too.
Like, what are we doing? You guys are interviewing for a job to work for us.
I don't know.
I think Channel 5 owes him a town hall.
I think so too. Yeah, I did it way better than you guys.
No, you didn't. You didn't. You
way
didn't.
better.
No, Chris, you didn't. But that's okay. You know what?
We'll agree to disagree.
You know what, Chris? On Nashville's Morning News, apparently, everybody gets a trophy.
I want my blue ribbon, damn it.
Yeah. Anyway, so you agree with me, right? That Rose should debate.
Yeah, and I think
Okay.
Blackburn should debate too.
Mhm.
I think that she's I don't know, man.
I see here. Okay, so that's where you and I are going to differ.
I feel like behind the scenes, they might have a little panic going on right now.
Here's where I'm going to differ is that Blackburn, I understand why she's not debating because she has more to lose because she's so far in the lead. Rose has nothing to lose. He is in second place. If you believe that, if you believe in second place, he's going to play. He's been dying to do this all day.
The chicken sound
the
effects?
chicken sound effects. So
I think I do. I think Monty would mop the floor with both of them in a debate.
Have you seen Rose and Fritz in a debate together? I have not.
I have not.
Okay.
But Monty said that
I know what he said. Monty said maybe Rose had enough of me in Knoxville last week. I played the audio earlier. So I don't know. I don't know.
One of these things is not like the other, and one of them is not afraid to debate.
Mario says debating should be a state law.
It should be. You should be forced to do it.
I said that 2 weeks ago.
It's a base take.
It's all about you, Sam.
Well, we do have a history in the state, and I wanted to do my research on where I graduated from. Austin Peay is named for a former governor of the state. It's just not been a thing in this state. We have typically let people run their campaigns through media outlets as opposed to forcing them to have town halls and forcing them to speak in front of their constituents live.
Didn't we roast Biden for running a basement campaign?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
Like, didn't we
you guys.
roast him?
Okay.
Blackburn wouldn't even take questions going into an elevator.
Who among the four of us roasted Donald Trump for not debating in the primary in 2024?
That's fair.
We can all scream about Joe Biden, but listen, we got to hold each other accountable here. So let's
I had a caller on my show say though, but Trump had already been president at that point.
True.
And 2020 had been stolen from him.
Yep.
So there was a little bit of a caveat there, if you will.
I still think that you're being inconsistent if you didn't criticize Trump and you're criticizing Blackburn now. But that's a fair point. See, I can be reasonable and we can have conversations.
It's nuanced.
It's nuanced. Mario says Trump should have debated as well. You know, Mario, you're the one that caused all this consternation in the first place. Why do his texts keep coming up? They're coming in very quickly.
Can we get a Super Talk T-shirt that's Dan's face right there saying, "See, I can be reasonable."
Put it in a fortune cookie.
Yes. Somebody sent fortune cookies to the radio station yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, somebody said that there was a bunch of fortune cookies here. I like two things. Well, more than two things. But I like candy corn, which people find bizarre, and I actually like to eat fortune cookies. So I'm upset because if there was a box of fortune cookies here that was sent to the station, I didn't get any.
That's bizarre. You know what else I find bizarre? If you're not willing to vote for Blackburn, how you could be going for Rose.
If you're not willing to...
Like, if Blackburn is too much of an establishment insider, I don't know how you could view Rose any other way.
Well, okay. I'm not defending John Rose and I'm not criticizing him. I'm trying to be neutral on this, but Marsha Blackburn has a longer political history in Tennessee than John Rose does. John has been in the House of Representatives for four terms? I think 4 terms, about 8 years. And Marsha Blackburn goes all the way back to, obviously, as everybody knows, the horn honking and all that kind of stuff.
Do you know what people said to me on my show? They said that was stolen valor from May Beaver.
I heard that. I actually heard that. I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not.
One listener actually said that May Beaver was about to give a speech.
Yeah.
Blackburn came up before her and then jacked the whole speech. So then May Beaver had to get up there and kind of like wing it on the fly. I don't know how true it is.
I was going to say, did that person have any evidence?
She said that it happened. I wasn't here in Tennessee at the time.
Well, neither was I. So some rando on the phone line says it, so it must be true.
Must be.
All right. I don't know if that's true or not. Here's the deal.
Do you believe randos on the phone more than randos on Twitter?
Yeah, because randos on Twitter, there's some sort of a history of who they are. So, yeah. Now, there's some randos on Twitter that have a lot of followers that are full of crap, like there's some of them out there that just I have learned now that when there's certain, and I don't remember which ones they are, but there's some that just magically appear in my feed all the time. And I've caught some of them. This is what can I tell you what my pet peeve is with Twitter right now? Is that they'll be like, and I think Joan knows this, where they'll post, stop everything you're doing and watch this right now. Yeah. It's like, how about no? How about I'll watch this at my convenience? That's number one. So don't ever tell me to stop what I'm doing. That just, it ticks me off. That's number one. But number two is somebody will say that Trump just dropped this or this just happened and it's breaking. And it's not. It's a clip from like 4 months ago.
Stop what you're doing right now. I have a hot take.
Yeah, it's exactly right.
Okay, no, but seriously, I do.
Oh, okay.
Here's one thing I noticed, and I noticed it with your interviews this morning with like Todd Warner and all the guys running for Congress, and I've noticed it with Blackburn and with Rose, and I haven't noticed it with Fritz. One of the biggest campaign strategies that I have seen this election cycle is Trump, 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 Trumpy, Trump, 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 me, Trump, Trump, Trump.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
Everybody's trying to out-Trump each other.
Yeah, like, can we talk about something else? Like, I understand that people need to support the president, but that's kind of a given in conservative circles these days. So why are you wasting so much of your precious ad time, FaceTime with voters, talking about President Trump instead of what you're going to do for Tennessee?
I think because Trump is so incredibly popular in the state of Tennessee and across the country amongst most conservatives that everybody's trying to align themselves with Donald Trump because he is the standard bearer. I agree with you. I know what you're saying.
Differentiate yourself from the other candidates.
Well, that's what I mean. Everybody is trying to be, well, it's like John Rose and Senator Blackburn. They're both doing the same thing.
But Fritz hasn't leaned on Trump really at all during his campaign. He said he agrees with the president in interviews and things like that, but it's not like the first thing that comes out of his mouth on any given day.
I think probably because Fritz knows that he wouldn't get the Trump endorsement. Most people will tell you that a Trump endorsement is golden, and that is your golden ticket to victory.
But do you know who else isn't getting the Trump endorsement? Blackburn or Rose.
You're right. And that's a fascinating little wrinkle in this whole thing.
Do you think if Trump came out and endorsed Fritz, that it would be game over?
I do.
You think so?
I do.
I think it would be huge for Fritz because it would, number one, there's some people who don't believe that. Well, we just had Michael Patrick Leahy on who said that he wasn't a legitimate candidate. I think
fringe. He said fringe.
Is that what he said? I couldn't believe it.
I was offended, sir.
Yeah.
So
I felt like Greta Thunberg in my car. I said,
how dare you?
How dare you?
So, but I think if Trump, and he's not going to, but if Trump came out and endorsed Monty Fritz, that would give him some credibility with people that don't give Monty credibility. And by the way, just so we're clear, I do give Monty Fritz credibility. And
I think he has credibility. I mean, you can tell by the road signs. I feel like his road signs, and maybe, I said this to my wife, maybe I'm in a middle Tennessee bubble. I don't know what it looks like in eastern Tennessee or western Tennessee. Mm-hmm. But around Murfreesboro, and as I'm driving into the office, I see far more Fritz signs than I see Blackburn or Rose.
Right. I don't know.
I told Dan the story this morning. We drove from Florida to our house in Coffee County last night, and it's all Monty signs all along the way. There's some John Rose mixed in, but Monty signs are everywhere. Coffee County is littered in Monty signs.
I think the grassroots effort for Monty Fritz is huge. I said earlier that I think that I've seen an excitement and a passion for Monty Fritz that you don't often see. And I think that, you see these kinds of campaigns from time to time. We'll see if the road signs and the social media aspects of his campaign actually lead to a victory. I think this is going to be fascinating to watch.
It's like an experiment of, in a free state like Tennessee, where we have requirements when it comes to voting and things are monitored closely, will we have the freedom of choice that is reflected? I mean, like I said earlier, social media is all Monty Fritz. I mean, the other two candidates can't even touch him, and it's the authenticity. He's messaging to people directly, whereas Rose and Blackburn are messaging en masse like they're running for a federal position. You're running for the people of Tennessee, not to represent them, but to work for them. which is they're two different playing fields, and they can't seem to flip that switch off.
All right. Sam, by the way, very pro Monty Fritz, in case you couldn't tell. Hey, Chris, can I ask you a question? When are you and Sam going to wear your Monty Fritz shirts together? Coordinate.
I wore it Sunday to church.
Did you wear your Monty Fritz shirt to church?
I did.
When he sends me a shirt.
I literally.
Does Monty Fritz have shirts?
Yeah, I literally put
Monty
one on
Fritz
under my
has
suit
shirts.
coat, and I wore it to church as a big billboard.
We don't even have shirts at the radio station. He's got shirts.
I know. You think Monty doesn't have a budget.
Oh, man. I don't know. It's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be fun to watch. I wish I could say that I'm smart enough that I know what's going to happen. What I do know, though, Chris, is that Joan is wrong when it comes to toilet seats.
I'm not.
I was under the impression that everybody's wives put the seat down. You guys' wives don't do that?
I had this whole conversation about
that grammar was awful. Go
about
on.
conservatism.
Virginia's been doing it for me for years.
Be accountable, Joan. Be accountable for your own actions and your own destiny.
Somebody else pointed this out. Here's another reason why you should always put the toilet seat down before you even flush, and that's because of the spray. Yeah. You don't want the spray. Do you know what I'm saying?
You've opened a pet peeve I have to address now. You know the air dryers in the bathrooms?
Those are just poop wind factories.
It just blows the fecal matter around.
Have I told this story before?
Yeah.
So Riker was driving me nuts because he would leave the bathroom with wet hands. Now, it's in the wintertime, right?
That's just poor hygiene.
So he's, okay, but you go into some of these places and all they have is the hand air dryers.
The poop wind factory.
And that's what he said. He said there's something about fecal matter and poop, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
In a presentation,
but it turned out he was right.
In a presentation on propaganda in college, I did that on the blow dryers. How they say it is environmentally friendly, even though it's throwing microbes all around your face.
Yep.
Well, I've been using those for a long time, and clearly, my face hasn't suffered from the poopy microbes.
Is that right?
That apparently. Shut up, Joan.
You sure about that?
You know what?
Do a YouTube poll.
Oh, man. All right. It is.
By the way, how should the toilet seat be treated? Our poll says teamwork. Share peace, not pee, at 48% of the vote.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
That's such a bailout. Take a stand, people.
I do.
We do. And
yeah,
we need
Sometimes
our wives.
it splashes.
We need our wives to lift the seat.
Oh, gosh.
All you got to do, Joan, is look down. That's all you got to do. And by the way,
use the eyes that God gave you, Joan.
and by the way, Joan, if it's dark and late and you have to get up to go to the bathroom because you're a woman of a certain age, turn on the light and then look down.
I was under the impression that Eve was created to lift that toilet seat.
No, Eve was created to feed you that apple, buddy.
Oh yeah, we all know how that worked out.
Matt doesn't wash his hands after peeing.
I'm under the impression that you should wash your hands before. And that's the far more hygienic way to do things.
Yeah. About to handle sensitive equipment.
Sensitive equipment that's been under wraps and not experiencing the elements.
Well, that's a you problem.
Sorry, that's for people that wear underwear.
Well, yeah, I'm just letting you know.
Oh, is that what you meant by under wraps?
Yeah.
Oh, got it. Okay, I thought you meant you weren't getting any at home.
Please.
That's what I thought you meant.
I think we've all dispelled that rumor.
Tom Petty's free falling clearly has a different meaning for you.
How you're? Remind me how many kids you have.
We're going on 5.
Okay, that was my way of finding out. You've gone public.
Yes.
Okay.
We went. I broke it on the Joan Jones show.
You did.
Yep.
Oh wow! Thanks. Every day,
know the show.
You and me are here every day, and you break it on Joan's show when she's filling in.
Well, she said, Chris, I really am not as good as Dan, and I don't have any content. Can we please announce the baby? And I said, Joan, for you, yes.
That's very sweet. All right, I forgive you.
Isn't that nice? And I had content, by the way.
I was just full of all that profanity.
All right, we got to go. Joan, it is 8:56. What's coming up in the news?
Yeah, apparently Nashville has a concrete problem. We'll explain that. And got to watch your veggies. They could make you sick. Those stories and more coming up at 9 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. Dan Mandis here for my friends at the Covered Patio. Warmer weather means that you want to spend more time outside here in the summertime. Definitely If you want to add more living space to your home, think about building or upgrading your patio. They've got motorized screens so that you can easily keep the patio open when you want some sun and closed when you want some shade. So your back screened-in porch becomes a lot more enjoyable. Now, at the Covered Patio, they've got a ton of outdoor living options with motorized screens, patio covers, custom wooden decks, and outdoor structures. They've got a ton of options with styles for every budget. The Covered Patio is dedicated to fair prices and customized solutions for your specific home and space. So enjoy your home a lot more with an incredible patio upgrade from my friends at the Covered Patio. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. 615-695-2407. 615-695-2407. Online, thecoveredpatio.com. $8:58, Nashville's Morning News. Dan Mattes here for Mark Spain Real Estate. If you are stuck in a home that you simply cannot sell, call Mark Spain. If your open houses are being ignored, call Mark Spain. If you're tired of making costly repairs while your house goes unsold, call Mark Spain. Their guaranteed offer keeps you in control. You're going to get out of your home fast and with maximum profit. Mark Spain Real Estate has over 72